Hey, hello everybody. Welcome back to the HSBG podcast. I'm your host, Educator Collins. I'm here with my constant co-host, Shady Bunny. We've got new spells in the house. Another thing, Shady, how you doing?
I'm doing great, Collins. It's a fantastic patch. How you been?
Good, good. I've heard lots and lots of good things about this patch. Seems to be a lot of fun stuff, but we'll be the judge of that at the end of the day, right? So definitely interesting. Well, a lot of things to talk about here, as they always do. Still waiting for duos. They need to hurry up on that, guys. If you're listening,
Like
where
next
is it?
week, be great. If you're
Next
doubting,
week
yeah.
would be fascinating. But yeah, anyways, other than that, uh, let's get started.
But
Anything
next
we're
week's
talking about.
not
This
even
is going to
next
be a big
year.
one.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
It's
it's unlikely, right? If we're being honest,
impossible actually, because they said next year. So
it's not impossible. They would just go against their track record of ever putting things out early. Like that's
right,
not
right,
what
right.
they do. So
All
it's
right.
not impossible. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
so we're in a whole new season, guys. This is when the biggest patches happen, when the whole game mechanics change, buddies, quests, right? Those were seasons, and now we got spells. So this is I've already alluded to it. This is a really, really fun one. Super, it's a big change to the game. So we're gonna go over the new spells, right? We're gonna go over the new cards, and then just do some meta talk. Right? Talk about what's strong, and I want to blow Collins's mind with some what's possible. And he's like, nah, there's no way you can do that.
okay. I do want to say, like, a lot of times new patches can be super fun because broken things exist, and sometimes it's fine because the broken things have a element of skill testing. So you need to have like some sufficient amount of playability knowledge of the game to really utilize it, and that's pretty fun for good players. And then sometimes that level of brokenness is very easy to implement even if you're casual, and that makes the game, at least for high level players, not as fun because it
Yeah.
means that you have to kind of you know dig deep and go to that level if you want to compete, and everyone is doing it since it's very easy. So it becomes like do it or find a counter, right? Which is like, some, if you can find a good counter, it's fine, right? But sometimes it's just like either I do it or I die, right? And it looks like there isn't that level of I do it or I die, and it's more like there's a lot of skill testing required. So that's a good case, but it's still based on the fact that there's broken stuff, right? So usually those things do get adjusted.
Yeah,
Sometimes they
we'll
ignore.
definitely
We'll
get
see.
nerfs.
Okay, okay, okay.
I'm very certain on that.
All
All
right. You
right.
wanna? We want to? Are we reading it, or do you want to just start on the
Well,
spells?
I'll just quickly go over it where, we're not going to go like super, super in depth to like, oh, this is a spell, right? But essentially, you could just buy spells in the tavern. They have a tier, they have a
Wow. Does it
cost.
mess with your minions? I'm gonna be
No.
asking
Well,
like dumb
it,
questions.
it messes with your So there is a minion that spawns additional spells in your tavern, right? So if you have multiple of those, then you could get fewer minions, but you have a control, you could sell that minion.
But
So
generally, like the spells in addition to the max
yeah,
hit
yeah, yeah, yeah. So
minions that
on
normally.
tier
Okay.
6, you'll get 6 in a spell.
Right.
If you
It's
don't
only
have
when you get to tier 7 do you lose. Do you still get 6 in a spell?
Well, there is no tier 7, right, in spell
Right.
meta.
Right. What am I
But
saying?
7, I don't think 7 even adds an extra slot, right? Because
Right.
6
That's
adds
not
an
what I.
yeah. So even tiers add a slot. Right? But yeah, anyways, that's it's pure bonus unless you have landlubber on your board. Landlubber spawns an extra spell. Um, but yeah, and then there's so many different ones. So I think we're just gonna dive right in. Right, we're gonna go over
Okay.
the spells, and we'll skip over the ones that aren't really very interesting. Right, we'll go over them quickly.
We're gonna talk through everyone. But
Yeah, yeah, 20 minutes every card, of course. I hope you guys have time. So I think it's probably more fun if Collins goes over the cards and then gives his take, or if you don't think it's interesting, you can go very quickly, of course.
yeah, we just go down the list.
Yeah, just start tier one.
All
That's
right.
fine.
So Tavern Karn, gain 1 gold. This seems like an auto buy because you can always just use
Yep,
it. Like you just get a gold. Right? So it's just like always.
that's it. It's like Gambler in spell form.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
buy it,
Yeah.
and if you need to use it the same turn, you use it.
Yeah. good. It's
Pretty
good
much.
because you always take it. Might be
Yep.
the best spell because you always
Auto
take
buy.
it. Right?
Yeah, good for APM, good for gamblers, not dealers, right? Dealer gets 1/1 if you gain a gold, so this actually matters.
Right.
And there is a neutral 5-drop that grows for every spell you've cast that game. So it is an auto buy, even if you know you're selling it that turn. Just because you're making that 5-drop bigger.
Yeah.
Yep.
Pointy arrow, give a minion for attack. Not that good, not that interesting. Like, health is better generally.
Yeah,
So
for sure.
and like late game, I feel like you have enough ways to give things attack that doesn't matter. Maybe on a cleave and stuff, like there might be some cases, or if you're running out of gold, but generally, yeah.
Yeah, you're never going out of your way to buy this. This is like, oh, I have a gold left. I guess sure, 4 attack on my dude.
Yeah. 3 health though, that's better for me. Like I like health more than I like attack usually, unless.
Yeah. So we can't go over the name.
I guess Divine
though,
Shield would be like the other exception, but generally the health seems better.
Yeah, so
Fortify
Fortify gives 3 health and taunt, right? That's important. So yeah, this is not like this is actually something worth to buy early.
I should say what they do, huh?
Yeah, but it's fine. Like we've not really covered complicated cards. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, I know, but like as we move forward.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. All right. Next up, we have Tavern Dish Banana. Give a minion +2/+2 gold. This one is
+2/+2. So you said gold.
Oh, +2, yeah. All right. +2/+2. No gold. It costs 1 gold.
Yeah, 1 gold.
I'll mention if it doesn't cost 1 gold. Assume it costs 1.
Yeah. At some point, we'll
this
get more
one
expensive
is.
spells.
It's okay, but still like, it's worse than Fortify in my opinion. But it's okay.
I mean, 2/2. There's definitely some minions. So you sometimes have low damage minions, right? And they really benefit from some damage.
Yeah, like a 1/5. This is better.
Yeah, for sure.
Than Fortify.
Yeah. You have certain minions where you'd rather take 3 health. That's true. Again, right? It's like these are not these are okay.
They're not fancy. I hear.
Well,
you.
let's say it's on 4 gold and your shop is good. You might just buy a minion and banana because you want to like Jeeve Curve, right?
Course.
So you could do that, but you wouldn't want to do that with a pointy arrow. You wouldn't want to Jeeve Curve with a pointy arrow. Like stuff like that.
Yeah. Okay. Yep. Then apples. Give minions in the tavern +1/+3. So this isn't permanent. It's not like because that would be crazy. The
It's insane. No, it's that particular tavern gets +1/+3.
Yeah. Early you might use this, right? It's like Fortify essentially, right? For the tavern. So if you're gonna use Fortify for something in the tavern, you could definitely use it. You could also like use this and lock and then buy the shop if need to. So this seems playable. It's still niche scenarios, but seems good. Seems playable.
It's good. It's real good. It's I mean, think about it, right? +1/+3.
Yeah,
that's a good stat line. Yeah, for 1 gold.
So it's better than I'm saying essentially.
Yeah, you can find scenarios where you can easily buy 2, but you can also do something like Picky Eater. So you cast this, buy Picky Eater, Picky Eater +1/+3, play it, eat the +1/+3, and then that's for 4 gold. You have like a really big minion.
Yeah, there's some. They're okay. That's kind of strong. There's definitely some scenarios where like this is really much better than a lot of things.
You have
I would say this is probably the best buffer card we've seen so far.
Yeah. This is sort of like, if you can plan properly, this has a really good outcome.
Good ceiling.
If you can say, okay, I can buy at least 2 minions with this, or sometimes you do this with Feldrake, the 4-drop that eats 3 minions.
Yeah, of course.
You can
do
easily...
that card. I don't understand how that card still exists. It has so many busted potential scenarios. I'm just like,
So like tier 4, you'll have like four minions in the shop plus the dragon, so you can cast apples, buff your dragon, buy the weakest minion, eat the 3 biggest one. Then that dragon gets like 12 additional health from the apples in total. So but I mean, it's not an auto buy, but there are moments where you're like, that's really good here, right? That's like actually +9 health sometimes. So
makes sense. Next up, recruiter trainee, 2 gold. Get a random tier 1 minion. I mean, this is like a Yogg, not a Yogg, but
Yogg,
right? Yeah. Like So there are scenarios where you want to use Yogg hero power. I'm familiar with that. So in those scenarios,
You
it
might
makes
say you're
sense.
the foremost expert on that.
So I could definitely see where you could use this for sure.
Yeah, it just has flexible moments where
Yeah.
4 gold, right? Sell your Sally, cast this, buy a card, 5 gold,
Yeah.
cast
Yeah. Of
this.
course. Yeah.
Even on tier 2, right? With 5 gold, you might buy this and another guy
If you
if you
don't have
didn't.
economy, yeah, that makes sense.
Yep. So just flexible, not broken, just nice. It's like a
Yeah.
random scout, essentially.
Yeah. Seems okay.
Like scout, you don't get to choose, so still good.
Enchanted Lasso.
No, that's
it's-
Yogg.
That is the same thing. Okay.
Well,
It's-
no,
it's
this takes
better
from
'cause-
the shop, right?
It's better because it takes from the shop, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you can get a 2-drop with this, or
Yeah.
on higher tiers
Or
you get
more.
4-drop.
Yeah.
Yep.
Or higher.
Yep,
Yeah,
yep.
exactly. Careful investment. 1 gold, gain 2 gold next turn. So it gives you a gold next turn. Makes sense. This seems good because
Yeah. Yeah.
a lot of times you have gold left over since just how the gold works out. So if you can just buy this and have 2 gold next turn, it seems
Yeah,
good,
it really enables, like, again, right? It enables some careful planning where you can say, oh, do this now. Next turn I can
Can
buy,
you
then I
freeze
can level.
spells?
You sure can. Yep. You don't get a new spell then, but you just can buy the same spell. So
Can you you can't freeze a spell individually, right? It has to be the whole shop.
yeah, you'll freeze the whole shop. The spell's part of
Yeah,
the shop.
Fair. Okay. Overconfidence. If you win your next combat, gain 3 gold. So it's bear off. Okay.
Bear
It's
off,
bear off.
but you bet on yourself.
Right. Oh, true. Right. Oh, that changes things actually. So if you're strong, like I think a lot of players know when they're strong or not, especially when you can see the history of battle of your opponent and what they're playing, right? So this seems a lot easier to be confident whether it's a good buy or not. So I think it's good.
I think Baroff in a way is easier for me because you don't have to be strong. You can just see, okay, who is the strong guy, right? Whereas with this one, you have to be strong. But there are you'll find a moment where you can, like, I had a game where I had 2 of these and then I hit the ghost and I'm like, oh, money.
I can see what you're saying in that it's a lot easier to say, hey, you can always win this. Like, you can always win the bet, right?
Yeah.
Where, one of them are going to be stronger than the other in 90% of cases. Where this one, it's like, if you're having a bad game, this is dead to you.
Yeah, you can sometimes you generate this randomly and then you're like on a losing streak, so you're like, I can't cash this in. But you'll find them. I mean, you have to find a moment, otherwise you're dead.
If you buy a spell, you don't have to cast it that turn.
No, that's the cool part. You can have spells in your hand for however many
that
turns
changes
you want.
everything.
Yeah, dude. Like, spells are great. It's like the flexibility is through the roof. And you're gonna see you're gonna see some high impact spells later, right? Where you're like, holy shit, right?
You can hold spells? That's so powerful.
Can, yeah. Yeah, we play a game after this. Let's go. Let's get through this room. All right.
Oh man. All right.
That was it for tier 1, by the way. With careful investment, we started.
Overconfidence is the first tier 2.
No, careful investment is tier 2, but then.
Right.
Yep. So now we're going on to
you have to be
Lantern
tier
Lane.
2 or higher to get.
Yeah, so it's the same as minions, right? It's not like you can't get lower tiers, but you can't get higher tiers. On tier 6, you could roll a 1. Right? It's possible.
All right. Next up, we have Lantern Light, 2 gold as well. Give your minion stats equal to your tiers. So this is better as you climb the tiers. Like, I would say like tier 4 is where it's 2 gold though. I guess. It's 2 gold. Yeah. I guess it depends on the minion. There's definitely some minions I'd give like +5 to, maybe. Yeah, but it's 2 gold.
This one is
it's expensive.
Very player dependent. Like, you're gonna have to. I guess the player has to really know when to pop it, because sometimes it's also like last shop, right? So you have the gold. You could do this or you could do that, and you have to think what's more effective. I sometimes use this on tier 2, right? Where it's like Whelp Smuggler
on
plus
tier
this
2?
thing. Yeah, I mean,
just for tier 2?
Yeah, so let's say you started with a tier 1 dragon and like this and Whelp Smugglers in the shop. You're like, okay, I'll just buy Wop Smuggler and give 2/2 to my dragon, so 2/3.
Okay, I mean, yeah, but I mean, then it's a 2/3, right? It's a little bit different.
But sometimes you have a shield, right? Shield as well. There's a 2-drop with shield.
Yeah.
So there's, I mean, I'm not saying that you buy this on tier 2 a lot, but it happens. And then cleave on tier 4. This is fine.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So-
Once we talk about Cleave Divine Shield, then you're kind of
you
getting.
can. But yeah. This is overall, you're not going to be like, ooh, Lantern Light insta buy, but it's buyable.
Okay. Next up, Chef's Choice. Choose a minion, get a different minion of the same type. So you get a minion, which
in
is
your hand.
very strong. Yeah, in your hand. Yeah, in your hand. It's not like it goes in the shop.
Yep.
For 2 gold, you get a minion for 2 gold of the type that you want. That seems insane, right? Like there's a lot of like synergies within the minion types. So you're not paying. It's not like you're paying like a drawback. 2 gold is you're saving money to get a minion that you might need, and especially if you know what you're trying to build. Like, let's say you want to go like beast comp, right? You're like, okay, let's target the beast. Oh, did I get what I need? And it's for 2 gold, so this seems very playable to me. High value. What do you think?
It's very flexible for sure. It's
Very
a nice curve filler, right? It's you can use it in a lot of.
You don't sound that hyped. Okay.
Okay, this is it's not like I'm Chef's Choice. Let's fucking go.
Okay.
But it's
Okay.
it's good. It's good. It's
It's because
nifty.
you've seen the higher ones. And now
Yeah.
I'm like,
I mean,
this
I've
is like-
played Spell Meta, right? So
Yeah.
I don't roll a Chef's Choice and be like, let's fucking go, baby.
It's
But
not as consistent.
It's solid. It's like you get 1-drops as well, right? It's like but it's super nice when it works on the gold, because you almost always end with a stronger play in the end, right? Than if you would have to sell your minion to buy something or this or that. And sometimes you just hit the card you need, where you're like, ooh. Right, so like
Is there a way to force the Malgadons with this?
haven't found it yet, no. But there is a very reliable way to force Amalgadons later, Collis. Well, not Amalgadon, but Phalanx, right?
Yeah, I know what you mean. All right, next up we have Leaf Through the Pages. Your 2 gold, your next 3 refreshes cost 0. So you gain a gold through refreshes. I mean, if this is good if it fits your curve. I mean, you're getting a gold essentially. The problem is like you're using 2 gold, but if you're gonna refresh, which a lot of people do refresh, it's good. So
I mean,
I guess mid to late.
Yeah,
it's
I would say
playable.
think back, right? Like when do you start rolling? It's tier 4. So like the earliest you would do this is tier 4, and
It's
even
tier 4, yeah.
even then it would kind of mess with your flexibility. So
You would need a good rolls or something.
Yeah, you need to have a lease on the board where you're like really rolling, or you need to be Millhouse. Millhouse loves this. This is amazing for Millhouse.
Yeah.
But for me, this is generally just like late game stuff when I'm like playing pirates and shit.
That
It's
makes
like,
sense.
When you know, excuse me.
Because the issue, the like quote unquote issue. Let's say you have 8 gold, right?
Yeah.
And this is in the shop, and you have like one thing you want to buy. You could say, oh, I'll buy this, buy the one thing, roll 3 times, get something good. However, you could also say, I'll buy this, roll, see if I find something to buy in the shop, and then also there's a spell that I might want to buy for 1 gold, and that opportunity cost might be better for you than to just guarantee that. So I could like, especially if you're like losing or need to recover. So I could definitely see.
Yeah, I mean, good players try to not roll almost at all early game, right? You know that.
Early game, yes.
Because it's cost you gold. Yeah. So this is like the whole thing with Millhouse, where people have that anomaly, the 1/4. They're like, oh my god, that's so good on Millhouse, and it's good, but like normally you wouldn't be rolling a lot anyway. So you'd still prefer a Elemental over the free reroll on Millhouse, right? Because then you can manipulate.
But that is like if you don't have the.
Yeah, but I'm trying to, because it's so easy for someone to look at this and say this is like pure 1 gold. It's insane. Because rolls cost money, this makes your rolls free, but it's like, it's the way how I usually explain this, it's a voucher to buy something that you weren't really gonna buy. It's like, yeah, okay, my rolls are free, but I wasn't really planning on rolling anyway, if that makes sense. But yeah, it's good late, like tier 6 when you're just like rolling and stuff. Yeah, you buy this.
Yeah, for sure.
You snap buy this.
Yeah, it makes sense. I can see where you're coming from for sure.
Cool.
All right, strike oil, increase your maximum gold by one. Now, I think you should explain this one,
Yeah.
even though you've already explained it, right?
Yeah,
But
yeah, yeah.
I can explain it too, probably, but just
No worries, no
I'm
worries.
gonna let you do the work here.
Yeah, so strike oil, the easy way to look at this is you have a quartertron, that's your mech, that gives you +1 gold, right? Strike oil does the same, but you no longer need to have the quartertron on your board. So you now have an extra gold starting next turn. And it also increases your maximum gold. Same way a quartertron would. So that's kind of the easy way to look at it. Yeah, so...
Question, can you go to 11?
Yeah.
Okay.
You can go to 20.
Oh.
Yeah.
I see. Probably good.
So this is good due to particular conditions, right? So
Right.
there is a hero that says every third spell you buy is free. So
this is 3 gold, by the way.
Yeah, this costs 3 gold. If it was 1 gold, it'd be absolutely batshit crazy broken, right? But it costs 3 gold, so it's actually a significant drawback in your early game. But I've found myself. So let's talk about normal situations where you can't heavily abuse mechanics, right? To buy it cheap. Mm-hmm. I still buy it if I can plan my curve, where I say, oh, then next turn I can level and do this, or next turn I can, like level buy and then use my hero power, or I can buy that spell. Or
this seems like the type of spell I would snap by.
Yeah. And you'd probably get away with it, right? Because this is one of those cards where strike oil will get you killed if you don't have an idea on, like, if you're gonna like strike oil and then next turn like float a gold, then that doesn't work, right? You need to strike oil and then actually use the extra gold to stabilize for the fact that you didn't buy a minion.
Right.
Now the reason why this is insane on a hero in particular is you have so there is this strategy on Bloodwatcher. Bloodwatcher's a new hero, we're going to cover it later. But every third spell he buys costs 0 gold. So what you do with this hero, there is a minion that says you get an extra spell in your tavern every time you refresh. So that's all on tier 2. So what you can do with this hero is stay on tier 2, get 2 of those cards, 2 of those landlubbers. So now every time you refresh your tavern, you get 3 spells. And you can literally go 1, 2, 3. Third is free. 1, 2, 3. Third is free. 1, 2, 3. The third is free. So as long as you keep rolling like 1 cost, and then either a strike oil or let's say a leaf through the pages, you can use leaf through the pages, stay on tier 2, roll refresh for free, buy all the cheap spells. So you can buy careful investment, right, for 1 gold, and next turn you'll have an extra gold. You could buy a coin and break even on that turn. You could buy any 1 cost spell, especially something like overconfidence, if you are staying on tier 2 and you're winning. So there's a lot of stuff that will either be free or make you gold. And then you try to every third spell you try to hit strike oil, and then you go up to like 20 max gold, and then you just go straight to 6. It's pretty memey, but it works pretty well. I've seen people do it. I haven't been able to do it myself because the hero is so good that I've played other stuff with it where I just level and I hit good stuff.
So that's like a meme build, but it kind of works.
I can't 100% vouch for it yet because I haven't done it So essentially, that hero, in my opinion, is so good that if you don't roll double landlubber before you would go to 3, don't force it, right? Because like if you like roll on tier 2 for landlubber and then you don't hit, and then you have this really good hero, but you end up doing poorly because you're rolling for 1 card on tier 2 and you're not hitting. So, but I think when the situation is right, like it might be something that you should force, right? It's possible. But I've been doing really well on the hero just playing normal. But I want to try hopefully by the next podcast I've tried that strategy and I can report back. But that's where strike oil is insane when people do that.
But that is like you're giving me like the 5% scenario. It generally seems good.
Yeah, generally it's one of those cards, like I said, you need to have a plan for it. Right. So you need to be a hero that can actually use that extra gold. Otherwise, it's just like, I have 1 less minion, I take damage, next turn I float a gold. What did I do this for, right? So if it takes you 3 turns to use this extra gold, then, BG's is very tempo-oriented. You need to start stabilizing ASAP. All right, cool.
Next one is hasty excavation. 3 gold, gain 1 gold. Sounds horrible.
End of cards. Right.
Yeah.
What do you think?
This costs health to buy instead of gold. Okay, so it costs 3 health to gain 1 gold.
Yes.
And that's generally good in my opinion, especially early game. As long as you can use the gold, right? Same like strike all. As long as you can use the gold, that means if you buy this with that guy, you don't take damage.
Reminder.
Right?
Yeah, it's a great feeling. You're like, oh yes, let's go.
Yeah. Okay. But yeah, generally, I mean, if you can use the gold, this makes sense, of course.
Yes, the way how I usually explain this is if this smooths out your curve, you're probably gonna take less than 3 damage in the long run for having a smooth curve.
The thing
that
is, you
turn.
could just buy it and hold it, right? So.
Yes, but I'm saying if you're gonna buy it and hold it and then not use it for an extra 5 turns, it probably wasn't worth it.
Well,
I was like, whoa, compound interest, baby. I'm putting that in a trust fund or.
How can you spend 5 turns without using your extra gold?
Yeah, I mean, if you have a curve you're following and your gold is perfect, right? Let's say you have this on.
Yeah, well, if your gold is perfect, then it's fine. You could win regardless.
Yeah. Now
right?
I will
So
say
take the 3 health. Like,
yes. Now let's say on turn 3 you pretty much always buy this because even if you have a perfect curve, you can roll into a spell that you want to buy, and then the extra gold is useful. So yes, early I like this. I would say I stop buying this more like tier 3, tier 4, depending on how my game looks, right? If I can do whatever I want, if I can afford whatever I want, I probably don't want to take an extra 3.
Right. But tier 2, this seems you're always buying it.
Yep.
Pretty much. Okay.
Super useful.
Unless you roll 3 of them. Then you think.
Well, you roll 1 spell, but you mean like roll this, roll. Yeah, I generally don't buy the second one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll buy the first one.
All right, fair enough. Reckless investment, 1 gold, gain 3 gold next turn, lose 2 gold. Tier 3. We're at tier 3 now. This is the first tier 3. Huh. So you're spending 1 gold to gain 3 gold. Okay, I mean, you're getting the money, like, it's a net 0, but you get the gold early. Like, this makes sense if it fits your curve. You're getting 2 gold, right? Yeah. This makes sense if it fits your curve. You're gonna tell me you always buy this. This is what I'm about to hear.
Yep, you always buy this.
I knew it.
You know it.
Yeah, I know. I've.
Sometimes I'll have just 2 of these in my hand, just waiting to pop off. So yeah, it's so clean because so often you like roll this on your last chop or something like that, right? Just like, all right, let's buy that sucker and the next turn just do stuff.
Yeah, all right. I'm not surprised.
It's very useful for like leveling, buying your triple in 1 turn and all that. And then generally because you power spiked a bit earlier, you can totally recover on the turn where you have to sit.
Yeah. I know. It makes sense. I know. All right, next up we have Tricky Trousers. Give a minion +1/+2 and taunt. If it already has taunt, remove it. Okay. I mean, this looks like a tier 1 spell. Obviously it has flexibility, so if you need a flexibility, it's your
Well, it costs 1 gold, so that's the thing, right? So this is one of those cards that I rarely buy early unless it's just really useful on the gold. But late game, this is very, very nice to untaunt stuff on the fly.
Right.
Like I had a situation where I switched my hero power, which is a spell we're gonna see later, and I rolled Secret Guy, and then I got Splitting Image, and then this was very easy to untaunt the cards I didn't want to copy, and then taunt the cards, right? And I used the slime to taunt the one I did want to copy, and then I untaunted the rest with this. So it's more a tech option for later.
Yeah, which is good. Like more tech options is good. I already like what I'm hearing because what spells do essentially is it gives the game more options. You know, like that's essentially, you're not losing minions, you're not losing hero selection or anything. You're just getting more spells. Like just things to do that can change the game without really messing with the general game flow. Obviously, there's some broken stuff, right, that needs to be addressed. But you're essentially just giving players more options, which is always good for letting skill expression shine through. So I'm liking this.
That's it.
Yeah. One thing that I've always taunt. This is great, right? Because something that's always bothered me is like how sometimes taunt is so hard to get. Like if you need taunt, like there's been some games I'm rolling it down for taunt giver, and I've spent like 7 gold rolling down for a taunt giver, and I'm just like, why is that something I have to do? And here it's like, oh, I'll buy this. I can hold it.
You buy it for 1 gold?
Yeah. For 1 gold, yeah. And then if the situation arises, I'll use it, right? And so it's not like, oh, I'm holding a 3-cost minion, right? Like for that one scenario where I need to taunt something or untaunt something. It's like here I'm holding the 1 gold, which is a lot easier to just do and not care about. So yeah, I like that. All right, let's keep going. Next up, we have Fleeting Vigor. Give a minion +5/+5 until next turn. Yeah, that's like a I'm dying card,
Oh god, if I'm buying this, awful.
Yeah, exactly.
So there is random spell generation, and I'm pretty much never like sad that I got this. So it's like, yeah, okay, sure. Like,
okay.
It's like, I'll be a bit stronger. But yeah, to buy this for me, generally it'll need to really work on the gold where I'm like, okay, I have 1 gold left, sure. Or I have things to eat the shop, because you can throw this on the shop and then make it perma. And then it's really nice.
You also need to have guaranteed to eat too.
Yeah, but a dragon that eats 3, it's easy, right?
Yeah, okay. I mean, that dragon, yes. Dude,
Causes like, but you can't use that dragon for everything. I'm like, yeah, of course, I use that dragon for everything.
That dragon's a catch-all, all right?
Yeah.
Dude, dragons have had some of the most problematic abilities in the game. Like, just period. Like,
I mean, Chroma Wing, or
all the dragons. Like dragons have some stupid stuff.
I don't know. When Murlocs are a type, I wouldn't give dragons like that. Oh my god, yeah.
Hey, let's not talk about Murlocs.
Murlocs are fine in this meta.
Yeah, I make.
It's actually a little weak.
Yeah, I know. I'm aware.
Okay.
I keep up. Shady.
All right. Yeah. Okay. My bad.
Yeah, okay. You chill out. Next up, we have Shiny Ring, 2 gold. Give your minions +1/+1. Okay. Sure. If you have a full board. Sure. I mean.
Sure is correct. That's it. That's my sentiment too. I go like, yeah, okay, sure. It's that works on my gold, or I have some shields, or there's also certain cards. Well, we'll cover that later, but there's certain combos where you're gonna lower your threshold for which spells you buy, and then this is fine as well. So
lower your threshold in terms of like,
yeah, where it's kind of like
cheaper, or it's like,
yeah, it's
buying
like
spells gives you another buff that
yeah, exactly. So think when you have like Tethys, you start buying Tads and stuff, right? Where normally you wouldn't buy the Tad. So it's the same thing here, where you have something with like you start spamming spells, you would buy this.
Okay, makes sense. All right. Next up, we have Echoing Roar, 2 gold. Give a friendly minion at the end of your turn. Game +2/+2. So it's a +2/+2 that keeps giving you +2/+2.
Yeah,
I like that. Firstly, that is my kind of thing.
this is good.
Obviously, yeah. Obviously, you can't like willy-nilly like roll down by 4, but I do like that. You do have to make sure it's a minion you're keeping, right? So that's like maybe the hardest criteria. Like, oh, do I have a deflector early? Okay, like let's roar this. But other than that, it's like it's a card I like. It's an effect I like. You've had that scenario multiple times. Like.
Yeah, there is a combo with this card, right? There is a Drakari spell as well. So this says end of turn, and I've had APM games where I was able to buy like 10 of these on my cleave, and then I Drakari, and my cleave go like 20/20 end of turn ×2 40/40. I just like it's a buff. So
I like it.
You could do cool shit in this patch. It's It's not something that you like insta buy, especially early when it's still somewhat expensive.
Expensive. Yeah.
But random just spell generation again, right? Will give you this sometimes, and again, right? Sometimes the gold will work. Let's say the 8 gold turn, double buy in a roar, more than fine.
But
Like
yeah,
solid.
that sounds great. That sounds like
That's the dream.
that's
Yeah,
me.
yeah. So you level to tier 3, and then you have like, let's say Deflecto, a Pashmar in this thing. You're like, okay, let's do it.
I hear you. Yes. Nature's Blessing, 3 gold. Choose a minion. Give all minions that share a type with it +3/+2. I assume this buffs the shop as well.
Yes.
Okay. I mean, it's good if you're playing a synergistic type class. Like, yeah, if you're going all mechs, like, hell yeah. I hear you.
You could throw this on Curator minion and buff all your board.
Oh. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Oh, and then Phalanx, huh?
Yeah. Well, if it once you have Phalanx, this is less relevant, right? Because then you're end game more, right? But tier 3 when you're playing Curator, bam! This is my favorite. Like I actually pick Curator now. It was like, boom! You roll this sucker.
It's so good that it's worth playing Curator.
Yeah, I mean, I would say now that Curator has Phantom, it's like that's fine. That's actually, it has some armor. It has Phantom. It's fine. Right, and it actually has more armor than it looks like because you win your early fights because you have your little dude. So actually, right. Curator has a lot of staying power, and then that thing is relevant, and you can reborn it later. So I play some Curator already, but then now with this thing, this just gives you like a really big hit on 3.
A really good reload.
Where you're like, okay, buff 5 or 6 minions with +3/+2. So, but yeah. There's obviously situations where you might have 3 pirates and then this is still very good.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. I like that callback to Curator. I like that.
Yeah.
Oh.
Cool.
Next up we have Staffer Enrichment, 3 gold. Minions in the tavern have +2/+2 this game. So yeah, I mean, you buy something that does this a lot. Well, if you're playing any type of scaling, like you buy minions that do this, and it's like the Felamenta, right? It's +1/+1.
Yeah.
Right. But it's 2 gold instead of 3. But I'd happily pay 3 gold for double, right, instead of 2 gold for 1. So, it makes sense in the games where you want to play this.
I would say this follows Felamental rules, where sometimes you're like, oh, it's a bit late for a Felamental here, right?
Yeah.
Like
early. Yeah. Probably seems.
Yeah, your first turn on 3, this is generally still really good.
Yeah.
Also works with magnetic, right? Can
buff magnetic if you're going max and stuff like
then,
that.
You can, and obviously really good with that dragon that eats the shop.
yeah. Fucking dragon.
Oh god. All right. On to tier 4.
All right, now we're at tier 4. Ritual of Growth, 2 gold. Replace all cards in your tavern with ones of a tier higher. Oh, okay. That's like that one card that does that one thing. What was that card that does that?
I know it's a ticket of spell.
Yeah.
Evolving Tavern, okay. I think, or whatever it's called.
Like that. Seems good if you can make it hit 6s. That's, but maybe there are some 5s that are just broken. What are your thoughts?
It's situational. It's you really have to time it right. So you have to make it so that the 2 gold isn't going to hamstring your turn like crazy. So I would say you really need to know how you're spending your gold when you're buying this. So a lot of the time I buy this when the tavern I'm on is evolvable. Like let's say 5 gold left, 3 minions that I want to evolve, right? That would be a good situation where you say, okay, buy this, cast it, buy one of the evolved minions.
Are you usually buying this on tier 5 or are you also buying this on tier 4? That's really
generally tier 5.
Yeah, okay. And it's evolvable. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, okay. That tracks with my logic. All right.
Yeah.
Acceptable, shitty. Last blessings in here.
Yep.
Oh. Okay.
Now we get into the powerful spells.
Well, Vast Blessing is very good. Like, if you know how to play it. So yeah. All right. I mean, you would buy this when it makes sense.
Yeah,
There is an argument to always buy one, always have one in your
that's too much, but yeah, it's
Okay, yeah.
because you buy it, you hit nothing, you take 15, you're like,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
I will say one thing with spells, it's so
Mm.
easy to like buy like, oh, I don't have a full
Buy
board.
too many, huh?
Yeah, you like because they don't sell back for gold. You can burn through your gold really fast if you're buying spells because they don't sell back. That's the thing. You got to keep that in mind. So if you like buy a blessing in a different spell, you're like, what do you do in that turn, right? You're not buying in any battle cries. So you got to be careful with that. Like you can end your turn really fast.
That's super
but,
fair.
but yeah,
Okay.
like this with the best example I would say is the pirate HP buffer, right? This is super good with that, right?
Right.
Like 20 health on your cleaver in one turn or something like that.
Oh, there's a death rattle one too.
Yes.
That's probably that's stronger? Is that stronger than the battle cry?
You tell me.
If you want to win the fight. that would be well, there's also some bad death rattles that like give you permanent scaling too, so.
Yeah, it's a little cheating because I know all the cards now, right? This thing is broken.
Yeah, well, I think death rattles getting double is not balanced, like compared to battle cries.
Well, we have seen this already, which is why it surprises me so much that this is a card.
That's why because when I was playing and you were able to double death rattles, it already was broken. So I was wondering, like, have they fixed the issues? I should have known.
So it's a quest reward, right? We remember that from quests where
of course.
So the way we describe this is that you have an 8th board slot for your Titus, and it is untouchable,
unkillable.
You can make a board that requires Titus, but you can play 7 other minions, and the Titus never dies. So yes, of course, this is only for one turn. But I've had games where I cast 3 of these in a row, or I'm like one turn, I buy like 2 of them in one turn, or like I can, that's like 3 fights taken care of.
I'm already thinking like you play beasts with this, like it's.
Like, you can do this with Goldrun, you can do this with Phalanx, you can do this with Undead, where you're, like Undead board, where you have like a summoner in the back, and like your Titus cannot get sniped, right? Like you can really change positioning. Like if you know your Titus cannot get sniped, you can, play different, right? So yeah, this effect shouldn't exist. It's really dumb.
Makes sense.
Yep.
I would have hoped they'd. Can you even fix this? You can't, right?
I don't think it should be in the pool. It's kind of like, it's a bit like chicken, where you're messing with death rattles so much, where you're making them so powerful. It's
chicken's already. You can play this with chicken.
You can play this with chicken, and then your chicken triggers an extra and the wording, right, is twice. But Titus says an extra turn. So you can do this and Titus. You can stack those suckers.
Intentional.
Yes. Intentionally, yes.
Disgusting. All right. I knew the answer to this. All right.
You just didn't want to, yeah.
All right. Next up, we have Primal Staff. Your end of turn effects triggered twice this turn. They're really being lazy. I mean, is this also broken?
It's not as broken as the death rattles.
Yeah, of course.
I call this Drakari on a stick, right? It's and it's just, I would say it's really useful in a lot of cases. Now, Duo is out, so you cannot combo this with Duo, right? So if Duo was in, this would be a lot better. But there is a dragon that gives you 2 spells end of turn. Like it's really good with that because you get
every turn.
End of turn, 2 spells. Now it's a 5-drop and it's a 2/2, so it's like really shitty stat line. But
I don't care.
Yeah, it's great.
I'm still playing that.
Yes, it's really good. You want 2 of those guys, and then you want to buff them, and you're like, wee, spells. So pretty much any minion that can generate a spell is too strong right now. I'll spoil it, but I mean, and I think that's normal because they want you to play with. They want you to play with spells, so that's good. I'm happy with that.
It should be 1, right? I'm pretty sure.
It should give you 1 spell end of turn. Yeah, we'll see. Yeah. But yeah, so Primal...
We haven't talked about them yet.
We'll talk minions. Yeah, we'll talk minions later. So Primal Staff, it's great with the Roar late game, right? If you've stacked a bunch of Roar, you can cast this. It works with Kel'Thuzad, which is a very popular undead 6-drop. So we'll cover that later. But yeah, so I would say not broken, but just really, really useful in a lot of cases.
Okay. Nearing the edge or no?
Yeah, I mean, if you have Kel'Thuzad on your board, so it depends on how much
So does that mean you're already winning, by the way?
Sorry?
Or no? Is it like win more if you have Kel'Thuzad?
Well, it can push you into the realm of the preposterous, right? So so if you have a Titus on your board and you have a Titus spell active, your death rattles are now being cast ×3. So if you have, Kel'Thuzad procs a death rattle in your tavern phase. So if you then double that, you proc a death rattle twice in your tavern phase. So you get that death rattle's effect 6 times.
Oh.
Yeah.
Ew.
Yeah. So it really depends on how much you have to build on. Because it says ×2, it's always the same with exponential stuff, right? If you're ×2ing a big number, then it's really good. If you're ×2ing a small number, it's not so good. Yeah.
Does Brand's Blessing and Brands don't interact?
No, they don't do that. But
why is it like that? Why is Titus like broken?
Well,
like
if you were to stack Brand's Blessing and Bran, so they changed it, by the way, with Ticketus used to be able to stack his Brand's Blessing, but they gave Ticketus a new Brand's Blessing. So Ticketus can still stack with Bran. But I think the reason why is you would just go regular Bran plus Brand's Blessing, and then you'd go infinite in one turn, right? Where you're playing. You know how Golden Brand turns are.
But the thing is, like Titus, like the Death Rattle stuff is like that level of broken, but they're like, oh, that's fine. So I would say the Death Rattle stuff is more broken for the combat, but being able to get a gold. So essentially, what you could do, like let's say you triple into a Bran, and Brand's Blessing is on tier 4. I'm already like, we already know. We can skip this conversation. This conversation is already going to be long. But I hear you. Like,
yeah. You're just infinite, right? And with the infinite money, you can just buy another blessing. So you just have Golden Brand way too early. Right?
Yeah.
That's it.
I don't like most of the like your death rattles trigger extra, or at least make them not interact with Drakari or Titus. Like do it like Brand, at least. Where it's like your death rattle triggers
trigger twice, right? And then everything is twice.
Well, it shouldn't be an extra turn, an extra time.
Well, no, extra time you can stack indefinitely.
Yeah,
right?
that's the issue, right?
An extra time, an extra. So that's what I said. So they can make everything twice.
Everything trigger twice. Oh,
they could do that. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But I think you can stacking Titus is cool. I think that's not broken. Running double Titus, right? Because you have to.
I agree.
So I think you just remove Titus.
Oh, you just remove it. Yeah. There's no way, right?
Remove the spell and then just stack Titus. It's fine.
Yeah. Okay. Same thing with the Drakari one, or.
Drakari says twice, so you can't stack those.
Oh, okay. Oh, so this one is just the super problematic one.
Yeah, the primal staff is just Drakari. Like whether you have a staff or a Drakari on your board does not matter.
Oh, that one, that's okay then. I'm more okay with it.
It's okay until you see what you're ×2ing, but yeah, it's we'll get to it. Let's go.
All right. Misplaced T set 3 gold. Give a friendly minion of each type +3/+3. So it's kind of like a Light Fang. I mean, if it makes sense, I guess you'd buy it. I'm not like super sold on this.
Yeah, it's like
it feels like a waste of your money now that we've talked about some of the other
Exactly. This doesn't help you set up combos. So it's
hired headhunter. 3 gold. Discover a Battlecry minion. Sure. A lot of Battlecry minions are great.
This is if you have Brand on your board, this is solid. So
even when I feel like you could still take this even if you
depends on the situation again, right? But this is definitely not an auto buy without a Brand.
Okay. Discover a death. The next one, 3 gold. Discover a death rattle minion. If you have Titus, you buy this. Like, is that what you're gonna tell me?
You can use this to look for phalanx, right? So it's like okay, it depends a bit. I rarely buy this, but again, if the gold, that's always the thing with spells, right? If the gold fits, sure, but yeah.
The thing is, it's 3 gold, so it has to be but it has to be better than anything else on the shop.
Yeah, it has to be better than
That's
the
the
minion.
difficult.
Now you're getting so what does help is if you have Peggy, this is a card in your hand, and then you open it, and
Right.
then the Death Rattle minion is another card in your hand.
Peggy's make spells better.
Peggy
Okay. Peggy's
loves
already
spamming
great.
spells.
Yeah,
Yes.
like Peggy's already
I have
great. Like we don't have to
so
talk
many
about
Peggies this
the
game.
benefits.
Yeah.
Yeah, the benefits of Peggy. Yeah, it's great. It's a good card. It's arguably broken, and needs a nerf. But Shady will never
Wee.
allow me to say that.
She's already been nerfed. She's a 4/2. She's
And it's
fine.
still too good. Like so, I don't know what you're talking about. So.
What do you mean Peggy and a cleave shouldn't make a 200 cleave on her own? That's ridiculous. Come on.
Defender's right, tier 4, 3 gold. Give a friendly minion +8/+8 and taunt. Oh. That's not bad. Tier 4, early game, tier 4, this is good.
I agree. This is it's a nice little chunky buff when you're like, you know what? You big. Bam.
Yeah, damn, yeah.
So especially with the
And
guy that the guy that makes every third spell free, hitting 0 on this is like, oh, 8/8 on something for 0 gold. Yes, please.
yeah. Dude, the spells are a lot. Okay, planar telescope, tier 4, 4 gold. Discover a minion of your most common type. Yeah, I don't like it. Sorry. Is it good? I don't like
It's
this.
great to hunt for triples and stuff. So like let's say so earlier at a game with an early Tethys, really good to set up like Peggy and Dealer, right, and hunt for the Battle Cry Pirates.
Right. So you can get triples.
You can get triples, you can
benefit
find
there.
key pieces, so definitely
Even the
not
4
an
gold
add-on.
isn't that bad.
You're
because
essentially paying 1 extra gold to discover, yeah.
Yeah, you're it's like you're rolling essentially.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's actually not as bad as I initially thought. All right, you sold me.
The 4 gold is off-putting. It's visually off-putting. You're like,
yeah,
4
it
gold for a
is.
minion? Get out of here, sir. I've been buying my minions for 3 gold just fine. I don't need your premium minion discovery service.
yeah.
But sometimes you're like, you know what? I'll take a guaranteed pirate that I can look, or I'll take a guaranteed beast. So
That
not
can
an auto
triple,
buy, not an auto buy at all. But 2 pairs on the board. You're like, let me buy that sucker. See if I triple.
Makes sense. Okay, I've been sold.
Cool.
You've turned my opinion around. Armor stash tier 5 now. We're at tier 5.
Yes.
Set your armor to 5. Wow, I've not read this one, or some of them I knew, right? Because I watched your video and stuff like that. This one I was not familiar with. So it gives you 5 health, essentially.
Yes. Most cases this will give you 5.
Most cases, like I'm assuming, right? So
You're not going to use this with 10 armor, yeah.
yeah.
But sometimes you have 2 armor and you use it or whatever, right? But yeah.
You can get health now in the game. Okay. That changes stuff. But yeah, I mean, heal for 5 is pretty good. So you have to you have to make sure you're winning fights. Like if you're wasting your gold, right? Like like win the fight first, right? But still, getting armors. Is this balanced? Honestly, I don't know if I want an effect like this in the game. What's your thoughts? All right,
It's
I need to hear
broken, dude. So
Yeah,
damage cap is a thing, right? You could put I've had games where I've put myself over 15 like 2 fights in a row where I have like a small loss and like back to 15 or like back to 17. It's just like I can't die. Wee. So yeah.
So yeah, remove this, right?
Yes. Crazy.
Okay.
What the fuck is this
Yeah.
in the game? Like, yeah. So I understand that we need damage cap, and I'm definitely not an advocate, in favor of removing damage cap.
Yeah.
But again, right, for high level,
You should never have life healing.
you have an insane level of security. You can greed your ass off, right? If you can put
It's
yourself
already
over
balanced.
damage cap again.
Like the game design is already balanced to not have life
Yes.
healing.
Yes.
Like you'd have to
Yes.
change the game dramatically.
This is
if
an
you wanna
auto buy.
actually-
Anytime you don't have armor, it's an auto buy. It's like 5 health for 2 gold is an insane deal, right?
It's really good. Yeah.
Yeah. So
saying,
it's, but I mean, I have the benefit of having played it, of course. But it's
I called it though, even without seeing it. Like I like you removed this. Was my final
yeah.
thoughts. Yeah.
So
Yeah, I mean,
I've been rushing 5 a lot just because you can get away with it with this thing.
Yeah, I don't understand it. Yeah, I'm with you. I'm already joining the crusade to
I don't think we should introduce healing in Battlegrounds. It's
yeah.
like, I get that they tried to go for the mildest possible thing of like, it's not stackable, it's armor, it's only 5, but it's like 5 is, putting yourself over damage cap, right? It's, pretty good.
I'm not gonna make suggestions for this. I'm just gonna say remove it. All right,
I'm
next up we
happy
have
not
Dreamer's Embrace. 3 gold. Trigger a friendly minion's battle cry. Okay, with brand, I'm with you.
Yep. It's pretty much a brand card. Or there is a spell, we're going to cover it in a moment, that fills your shop with spells. So that is a cool synergy where Dreamers...
There is a spell that fills your shop with spells.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a tier 6 spell, we're going to cover it in a little bit. So what I found very useful is you have certain cards that randomly buff that can also hit the shop. The most common one is Balladist, the pirate buffer. So when you have Balladist and you could also buff pirates in the shop, it's very useful to only have spells so that the Balladist has to hit your board. So then you can use Dreamer's Embrace on the Balladist to proc it again, especially if you've had a big turn, you have Bran on the board, right? It's very useful. But you could also have like a Patches Buddy or something, which is random, could buff any minion in the shop. So pretty much unplayable if it randomly triggers. But if it has to target a minion on your board, very good, right? And you can do that by manipulating the shop by giving it only spells. So very fringe case scenario, but I found it very useful for this card. Anytime you could buff the shop, it has to buff your board because the shop is only spells.
So we're getting into niche, like high level tech stuff.
Niche high level thing. I'm just giving it to the audience because that's been nice. Where I'm like, oh, that's cool. I could almost, I could pretty much never do this other than in a full spell shop.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Next one, Unmaxed Identity. 3 gold. Discover a new hero power. Yeah, I mean, if your hero power sucks, get a new one. I'm with you.
Reno, make a golden. Hey, I'm Lich King now. Let's go.
If your hero power sucks, get a new one. I'm with you.
It's for some heroes fantastic.
This makes hero selection not as important, right?
Oh, 1 second, my doorbell calls, but you can.
Yeah, my doorbell also rang. And
you're kidding? All right, but you take it.
No. I mean, okay, yeah. But I feel like this would make minion selection not as important. At least, since you have the option of being able to change every game. So let's say you start with something that you don't want, you can say, "Hey, I can adjust." Same thing with like curator and stuff like that, right? You keep your curator, but
I'm here.
This seems like this is good for balancing the game, in my opinion. Except for some fringe cases, like there maybe should be like you can't get this hero. I mean, this hero power. Like because Reno's too toxic. I feel like being able to just do that. But
yeah.
I do like that. You can kind of get away with picking heroes that don't have like the best hero power, since this is always in the game. You can be like, oh, even if I have this bad hero, at least an early game hero, then tier 5, I'll switch it out, right? And things like curator, right? Like you like curator, now you can like get curator and then get a better hero power later.
Curator,
or a hero power that
patchwork, right? You can just reroll all of them.
Yeah. So this seems very good for hero balancing in some cases. You just have to maybe add a stipulation where some of the more broken hero adjustments aren't in. Like I don't know if hero.
You can probably get away with rolling everything just because it's 3 gold, right? You're not getting any gold in return, so it's quite an investment.
So you think Reno is fine?
I think you can roll a Reno late game. I don't even think Reno.
I guess that's.
I think the best ones are like Terran and Lich King, like the nasty ones where you're like, oh wow, now I can like play this whole comp that wasn't available to me before. I've played a game where...
I guess it's fine. We'll have to see the stats. Not that they have stats, but like
they're probably
if there are some like broken stuff, then maybe. But I guess it's fine to roll everything. Okay. It's not as problematic as other stuff, which is
Yeah, exactly. It's just like and it feels perfectly costed. 3 gold is enough of an investment that you're like, do I really? Because you can just roll stuff where you're like, okay, I guess I'll take a Rokara, right?
Yeah. All right, that's true. Buddy up, discover a buddy. Some buddies are broken. That's yeah. These ones are hard to evaluate. Um,
So can I
y-
remind you of a certain friend of a friend?
yes, that was a battle cry. Discover.
They turn it into a death rattle, right? Or not a death rattle, but a when you sell it. When it was Giga
Oh, they
broken, it was a
did.
battle cry, right?
Oh,
When it was Giga broken, it was a battle cry. But afterwards, it was like sell, get a buddy.
and it was still really good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So really good is what you're
I
saying.
mean, there's certain buddies where you're like,
And
oh,
they're
this is
broken. I
batshit
know.
crazy.
I know.
Oh.
They're
So
buddies that are so
you
broken.
can get Zephyrus with a brand on the board. You can get Sneed Buddy when you have death rattles. You can get
I know.
Nathanos and
I know.
so
I know these things, and I want you to tell me. It's the
exactly.
problem.
But I mean, I would say a lot of your buddies are gonna be like, whatever, right? But then sometimes just like, oh my god. So for effectively 2 gold, you'll buy this pretty much every time.
Yeah, I see.
Just 'cause
Just the high roll
sometimes-
potential is just like very.
Yes.
It's
And
very viable.
and a lot of the time you end up playing like, okay, Gallywig's buddy on something, okay, I guess. Patchwork buddy on something, okay, I guess.
Right.
A lot of the time it's just 1 gold where you're like, sell it. But then you get that Sneed buddy when you have 2 phalanxes on your board, or Nathanos when you have that one huge guy on your board. There's just situations where you're like, wow, this would normally never be possible. And you know that, right? If
Yeah.
there's certain buddy combinations. Yeah. Oh, the biggest one is Nazoth buddy. So Nazoth buddy makes a death rattle
I
golden.
mean, yeah, I know. That
And-
one is not.
But
that
you
one-
know Surf and Surf?
No.
Surf and Surf is the 1-drop crab that makes something a death rattle.
Yeah.
So you can put the death rattle from Surf and
On
Surf on your
anything,
brand
yeah.
and then golden it with the Nazoth buddy.
Yeah.
So what I did recently, and this was absolutely disgusting, I rolled Nazoth buddy on Jandis. So I had a Surf and I swapped the Nazoth buddy in the shop. So every turn I made something golden. I'm like, Reno every turn, let's go. So they definitely have to remove that interaction. You should not be able to golden anything you want when you have those 2 cards. That is just absolutely outrageous.
They make cards without like, and then later on they have to be like, oh, this interaction was not intended when we made Nazoth buddy. Where we weren't thinking about it because they were in different cycles, right? Like they didn't have that minion when they made Nazoth buddy, and they didn't make that Nazoth buddy thinking about. They didn't make that new minion thinking about the Nazoth buddy.
Yeah. You might say it's a fringe case scenario, but sometimes I'm like, do I hold this Surf? Or if I get Nazoth buddy, right? So sometimes you have Nazoth buddy and then you're rolling it down for Surf. So it definitely happens. Like, absolutely. In high level play, it's absolutely a thing.
Okay. Fair enough. All right. Next up, we have Upper Hand, Tier 5, 3 go. Start of combat. Set a random enemy minions held to 1. Seems good late game if you're like top 2, top 3. Like, sure.
Yep.
Like even,
really
even when you're
all in
about to die. If you're 3 gold, like maybe you want to get stronger. But late game, yeah. Late game for sure.
Yep. Can do this in Blaster. It's kind of funny.
Yeah, that makes sense, yeah.
Oh.
Dude, it must be annoying to lose to this, by the way.
I've hit my opponent's big cleave with this. I'm like, oh, 500 health? I don't think so. It's disgusting. You can only do one of these though, but yeah, it's
okay. It doesn't stack. Right?
Yeah, just imagine Gallywig's like 7 upper hands and a blaster, checkmate. Yeah, that would be disgusting.
Yeah, you could do that every turn. Would be funny. All right. Next up, Jaws of Fate. Spin the wheel of Yogg Saron. Oh. It is 4 gold. There's definitely some good ones, I would say. It's good if you get the right ones, right? Obviously, you can get value that's way better than 4 gold. So late game seems okay. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, it's so I love this when I get it for free. So it's
Sure. How often is that?
quite often. We'll go over
Okay.
it. But
Okay.
so there's mechanics, right? There's that guy that reduces the cost of spells, right?
Yeah. That guy is already
There's spell
broken.
generation. There's many ways to generate spells. So you get it for free quite often. But yeah, so 4 gold, it's just so much. So
Yeah, that's my issue.
if I have a buffed shop, sometimes I'll go in on it, right? Just because the eat is so good,
It's very
golden
good.
is
Yeah.
fine.
The
Later in
money
the
is
game,
good.
prizes are fine, right?
Yeah,
So
prizes are good. Money is
yeah,
fine.
but definitely like let's say early on 5, I'm not gonna like YOLO,
Yeah,
right?
that's what I'm saying. Late game, it seems fine once you have your setup and stuff.
Yeah, it's I would say buffed shop. That's the main thing.
Okay.
Yep.
Fair enough. All right. Next up, we have Golden Touch. Make a random minion in your tavern golden. This is like I love it when I get it for free. I know that's what Shady said.
I am amazingly like enjoying it when I get it for free.
But 5 gold is so much, and you have to set up like really effectively if you want to like hit the minion you want. I don't know if you'd buy this early, but I guess you do. You do get the 6-drop. So like maybe you're on tier 5. You buy this. You buy the minion that's 8 gold to get a 6. That's so much. I don't know. I'm not super sold on. It's so expensive. What is it good?
It depends on the situation, but there definitely are turns on 5 where I'm on 5, I get this in my first shop, buy it for 5, sell a minion, right? So then you have 6 gold left, and then you can buy 2. That works pretty well. So
that's a much better flow.
yeah,
That's a much better flow.
exactly, right?
Okay.
That fits really well and you always have something to sell, right? When you're buying this.
Yeah.
So that fits really well. So let's say there's 2, like it doesn't even need to be brand, right? Like just like, oh, I don't roll this unless it's brand. It might just be money pirate, right? And you get your gold back, a good battle cry, or just a thing you're like a Peggy, right? Something you're like, oh, this golden minion's totally fine. So if the shop is,
there are scenarios
Yeah.
you can buy this. Yeah.
if the shop is utter trash, I will generally not do it unless I just, there is, so we talked about
You could buy,
Kel'Thuzad.
roll, double sell.
Yeah, you could still do that. So it depends on how much I'm hurting for a 6-drop. So there are games when I'm just like, okay, I just need.
How game changing would a phalanx be right now? You gotta ask yourself.
Yes. There are absolutely cases where I'm like, if I have phalanx now, the game's over, right? I win. So and then I'll just do this, of course. Same thing. Kel'Thuzad and phalanx are disgusting together, so we'll cover that later. But there's absolutely cases when you just really need a specific 6-drop, and then you'll just go for this most of the time. But if you don't really need a 6, then I generally will do this on a shop where I'm just happy with, let's say, half of the outcomes, right? Because sometimes you can also buy a small, you can buy a shitty outcome.
That's what I was thinking.
Away.
Yeah, it's like, I'll buy the weakest card, play this, and then see if I hit something powerful.
Like I've made golden chicken with this. I've made golden Peggy with this, right?
Yeah, okay.
It's there's definitely cases where you're like, golden card.
Fair enough. Yeah, I'm not valuing that you make something golden enough.
Yeah, I mean, I have also bought the whole shop for brand. I was like, golden brand, let's go.
Yeah, I mean, golden brand, like, for sure. Makes sense. Okay. Now we're finally at tier 6s. So you have to be tier 6 to get this, start getting these.
Correct.
So keep that in mind.
Yep.
Perfect Vision, 2 gold. Dude, 2 gold for this. Set a minion stats to 2020. That's very good. Yeah, I mean, your Titus 2020. Yeah, sure. Like, I'm down.
Yeah, like magnetic. It's insane on magnetic. You can just make
it's good. Yeah.
You could just buy like 3 of these and be like, 60 on my 4 Reaper. It's pretty hilarious. But it's good that it's tier 6. I don't think it's broken. It's just really useful, right? But make my Titus 2020,
it's like
throw
Uther.
it on magnetics.
It's Uther. Do I think Uther's broken? No.
Yeah, I mean, it's a bit more than Uther, right?
Yeah, it's better than Uther. I agree, but
it's like +5 better than Uther.
yeah, it's better than Uther. I agree.
But it's good. It's good. Like I don't think this is like. I mean, they might nerf it, but this is definitely not. So I don't look at someone bored and be like, oh my god, he rolled a bunch of perfect visions. right? I rarely. That's not something that comes to mind.
Wow. When his deflector is 100, you're like, maybe he
That's
did.
probably something else, but yeah.
Okay. Oh, okay.
It's probably a bunch of dragon roars. It's like,
All right. Saloon's Finest, 2 gold. Refresh your tavern with tavern spells. So this fills your board with tavern spells.
yep, that's the one we talked about.
Yeah. And you like this? I mean, you've already told me.
It depends on the there. I will skip this, right? If I it's not an auto buy, but there are situations where it's really good. We'll cover the rest
Peggy.
of the. Yeah, with Peggy. Also, if you're playing with Seafarer, we'll cover that later. It's Seafarer is a 5-drop that gives you a tavern spell after you've bought 3 cards. Now spells a lot of the time are cheaper than minions if you're buying the 1 gold or if you're making gold back on your spell, like buying like discovering a discovering a battlecry minion or something. You can make your money back off that, etc. So, but yeah, this is what I'm looking for. Something. This is what I'm looking for. Titus. This is what I'm looking for. Drakari, right? I can use this and find it more likely like that.
Lost Staff of Hamul. So Hamul's back. Okay, 2 gold. Choose a minion. Refresh your minion with minions of that type. I mean, Hamul was very good. However, it was good with Murlocs, and Murlocs aren't that good. So, well, they're not. It's not that they aren't good, but there are other things to do besides Murlocs. Basically, is what I'm saying. So, it's still. I mean, it's still Hamul. So, I mean, you can't really go too wrong with Hamul. So, yeah.
It's still incredibly useful. That's what I would call it. It's good on beasts to find reborn. You can use it on pirates to find the HP buffer on pirates, etc. So
yeah,
definitely useful. Yep.
Yeah. Azurite. I hope empowerment. 4 gold. Give your minions +4/+4. Oh, okay. So that's what 28 in stats. Decent. I mean, if you're keeping like, it's probably 24, right? Or or 20 in stats, which is still good. So
yeah, you'll buy this quite often, like especially with cleaves. It's so there is spell APM, right? And this is really good in that because a lot of the time with spell APM, I'll just build a Foe Reaper from scratch, and then I just have a shit ton of money. I just need to wait a buff cleaves, right? And this is a great way to throw money at the problem, essentially.
Yeah. I don't know. There's a lot of good spells. Okay, give a minion Divine Shield. That's good. I mean, buff your cleave. Yeah. 5 gold, sure. George is laughing like
5 gold, peasants.
Yeah. But then you have to play George. So
I was gonna say George is laughing from like the top 8 ghost position. It's like, shut up, George, you're dead. It's like, but you're paying 5 gold. That's
good.
Pretty much it. Yeah.
Oh, that's the last one. Okay.
Yep.
All the tier 6 ones are good, and I don't think I've seen a bad one on 6, which I guess makes sense.
Makes sense indeed.
Yeah. Okay. And then we have new heroes. Those were all the spells. That was a lot.
It's a big patch, man.
Yeah.
It's a whole.
Are we halfway there?
No.
Or do we need to speed things up?
Well, okay. Spells probably halfway there. Sure.
Okay. All right. New hero, Snake Eyes, lucky roll, 1 gold. Roll a 6-sided die. Gain that much gold. Oh, can I be used again for that many turns? Or So if you pay 1 gold and you roll a 1, you get nothing.
You get your gold back, right? But yeah, you didn't gain anything that turn.
Okay. So essentially, this is giving you. I mean, I guess you can do the math and find out how much it's giving you on average, right? But essentially, it's giving you some amount of gold below 1 on average per turn, which is good.
It's not that. It's that you get a burst of gold. And that's broken in this game. So what you do with that, right? You roll on 1. If you roll a 3 or more, you can level. Now you're tier 2 on
Oh
turn 1.
yeah. Oh, that's
It's
already a
it's
hero
already
power.
insane, right? Like turn 2, you start buying 2 drops. You get access to two tier
Oh
spells.
man.
You can level to
Yeah,
3,
that's already you've already sold me.
and
That's
then
all
like
I need.
yeah, exactly. Like this hero is broken, right? And then as you approach like when you have to go to 5, this thing is back off cooldowns. Like, oh, going to 5 is expensive. Not anymore. Go to 5, buy a minion. It's stupid strong.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, I'm sold. You sold me with the first interaction. All right. Fair
Yeah.
enough. Next up, we have Blood Watcher. I'm not saying the first part. Can you pronounce that or no?
Tythalon,
Nah,
yeah.
I'm not gonna bother. All right. Reliquary Research. Oh, this is the guy.
This is the guy.
Also broken, huh?
Also broken.
Every third tavern spell you buy costs 0. Yeah. All right. Yeah, we
covered this, right? Buy a 1 cost, buy a 1 cost. Boom! Like, dude, buying Golden Touch with this is so illegal. Like, on tier 5, you're like, ooh, make a minion golden for 0 gold. Well, thank you very much. I think I will.
Yeah.
that is so disgusting.
How do you balance this guy?
I think you make the spell cost less or something, right? To like you can like it can never be that I can buy I can't buy a 5 cost Divine Shield for 0, right? Come on, that's ridiculous.
Yeah. Every third tavern spell you buy costs 2 less.
Yeah, something like that. There is
okay.
Like there is no iteration of this guy where buying a Golden Touch for 0 is balanced.
Thank you. Thank you. I was like, how do I balance this? Every fourth spell? Ooh, that's awkward.
Yeah.
Just make it cost less. I like that.
Probably every third -2, and
-2,
that's
like
still
that.
good.
Yeah. All right. Dr. Holiday. A Blessing of the 9 Frogs. 1 gold gain a random tavern spell is also broken.
It's the least broken of the 3.
It's the least broken of the broken spells. Yeah, but yeah.
This one has more like mediocre games. If you hit on this guy, it's
not guaranteed.
Yeah, you can just hit. A lot of the time, I get like leaf through the pages early, and I'm like, oh, I wasted a gold. Or like I get a pointy arrow, and I'm like, yeah, okay, I guess. But it's not bad. It's definitely not bad. But
there are some whiffs.
There are whiffs, right? Sometimes you do this and you hit strike off for 1, right? On turn 3, you're like, let's fucking go.
You won, right? Yeah.
Sometimes you go to 5, you level, you hit this, you get Golden Touch, you're like, let's fucking go. So there's absolutely some disgusting high rolls, but the other 2 are more consistently done.
More consistently done, yeah. Makes sense. Okay. Well, they need to. There's some balancing problems. I can hear it.
The first 2 are definitely getting nerfed.
Yeah, for sure.
New minions.
Woohoo! Beleaguered Battler, tier 1, 4/5 at the start of your turn, lose 1 attack. So can this go negative? I guess if you buff it.
If you buff it, it keeps losing. Yeah, it won't go minus attack obviously, but it'll go to 0 and then keep going to 0.
It still seems good because you buy it on 1 and you're like, oh, 4/5 and then the 3/5 that you sell it.
It's like a rock pool basically. Yeah, it's like the awkward thing is you get this and then you get scout. I'm like, wait, now I'm stuck with this thing.
Well,
it's fine. Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. Not broken, but it's the I didn't get economy, so you guys are in pain.
Yeah.
Screw you guys. I also wanted money, but now you will lose.
Yeah, I hear you. Next up, Wrath of the Sun Ferrex, tier 3. Oh, okay. Whoa. There's a lot of minions. Okay. We went from 1 to 3. I was like, oh, there. And then we're going from 3 to 5. So there's not a lot of new like early game.
Yeah, but there's reworks and stuff. There's definitely. So this is neutrals, right? And then we'll go types.
Oh, okay. So 3/1 Divine Shield, Avenge 4, give a random friendly minion Divine Shield. But it's not permanent, okay. Good tempo, I guess, if you're playing Avenge.
It's a bit awkward just because
I agree because Avenge usually has like low attack minions that are being summoned and then you give it. Yeah,
it's like the engine might take the shield,
Yeah.
Your Imprisoner 1/1 token might be like, wee, give me that shield. So,
Yeah.
nah, I would say. I generally don't like buying this card.
That makes sense. It makes sense. I'm not arguing. Tier 5 Rodeo Performer 3/5 Battlecry Discover spell broken. I can already tell you. I've seen the spells
Yeah,
now.
broken. With Brand, give me 2. Let's
Absolutely.
go.
Yeah, like
Brand's
come on,
Blessing
what
with a
is this?
sucker. Let's go. This is must buy, basically. Yeah.
How do you balance the spells? The spells are so good. Like the spells are good.
Honestly, for a lot of spells, I'm fine with how it is right now. I think it's really the generation of the spells that needs to be toned down. Because
Yeah.
I think a lot of the spells are adequately priced. Like we talked about some exceptions with the Titus and stuff, right?
What if this said discover a tavern spell 1 tier lower, less, or yeah.
Yeah, I don't know exactly, but I'm really enjoying the game right now, so I don't want to be too much of a
I
party
hear
pooper.
you because you're good and you're
Yeah, but
abusing
there's
this
a
like
lot
crazy.
of people that are liking it right now. I'm just
Yeah, I agree. But the generation is a problem. So you got to turn that down.
I think that okay, so I'm gonna lay out the main problems after we've covered everything, and then we
Okay.
can address those, and then we can work
Okay.
our way back.
Sure. Okay. Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. All right. Let's move on then.
Yes.
Mad Matador tier 508 taunt when this would take damage, deal it to a random enemy minion instead. Oh, so it's okay. So
Yeah, take a moment for this one.
does it work with Leroy?
Leroy's banned. It's gone.
Oh.
This is Leroy.
Huh. Well, this is the Leroy. This means that
Leroy at home.
yeah. The issue with this is you just don't put your biggest thing in the front.
All right, I'm gonna help you out with this one, right? And because it took me a while to actually discover this in the game, you can give this guy attack, and when he hits into something, it also works.
Oh.
So you can put this guy in front if they have a big taunt, for instance, kind of like Leroy-esque, if you will, because it won't necessarily hit the big taunt, but it'll take the damage from the big taunt and hit something else.
So there's a 50-50. I mean, that makes it a little bit better though.
Yeah, and well, you could have more than one taunt, right? So
Sure.
So this is my basic analysis of this guy. Regular version, meh. Golden version, insanely good.
Oh, there's a golden version.
Yes. It's 2 attacks.
Twice for combat.
So
okay.
he's just fully immune for the first. Like, you venom this
two.
fucker, he doesn't give a shit. Like, take your venom elsewhere, sir. I'm not interested.
So the venom will the venom kill a different minion?
No, it will just not proc. Like, the venom will
okay.
attack,
Okay.
and then like it's like he didn't deal damage to this guy, right?
Right.
So he's just like deflecting shit. He's like, he gets hit by a Murgle, he's just like, no, get out. So what you do with this guy is you give him like 20 stats with the spell.
Right.
And now you have a thing that when it attacks, it procs Divine Shield. So it removes the Divine Shield, and everything has Divine Shield because of the spell. And then it takes the damage from the minion and slams that into something else. And then some other Divine Shield attacks into this guy. He then first removes that Divine Shield and slams that minion's damage into something else. So
he like procs 4 divine.
He just he kills all the shields, or if shit is he might just kill Murgle, right? Like because this shit like hits random. So the amount of times where I've killed a Murgle before it get reborn, yeah. So this is really good golden. Like I've won games off the back of this guy. Like I played Golden Touch, I hit a Matador randomly, and I'm like, oh, this stays the whole game. Let's go. But you need to give him damage. If you don't give him damage, it's mediocre because he won't proc the shield. So he needs 1 damage or more so that he kills Divine Shields and then applies his effect.
I see. Yeah, that would take a while for me to know.
Yeah. It took me a while too, but like the golden version is insane. It's really good.
Golden version seems a lot.
Like
That means you have to buy it early though. Like
honestly, like the golden ones I've had were Golden Touch. I haven't collected 3, like because it doesn't build into anything, right? And it's really been Golden Touches. But
it's annoying that like you can golden touch this consistently enough that like this is a thing. Like you
Yeah,
can
yeah,
use
yeah.
enough golden touches. Like oh
Like
yeah,
so,
like
some compositions generate so many spells that you're doing APM spells, right? So then you can have so much money that you roll a shop with Matador, buy everything else, golden touch the Matador. But it's really the end games are complicated because your hand is
I
always like full of shit, right? So you have to just like
yeah.
go, 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 go. So while it is theoretically possible to force Golden Matador, it's actually very difficult in practice. Like
Because you have so much stuff that
yes,
it's
you have,
not that good.
and
Wow.
and
Okay.
then you have to think,
Okay.
but
And you're
yeah.
saying, oh, this isn't a problem. All right, whatever. But yeah,
Well,
interesting.
I think as the meta matures and people realize that Golden Matador is really good, like it might become a problem.
Well, you've just spoiled it. You've
Now they
just
know.
spoiled it.
Yeah, yeah. Golden
Yeah.
Matador is really good, guys. Now you know.
All right, let's move on.
Yeah.
Ensorcered Fungus. 2/4 has +1/+2 for each tavern spell you've cast this game. You've talked about this earlier, where you could just have this be 100 in the shop. So, well, even 100 200 in the shop. So it's like, yeah, all right. Seems there's not that much Murlocs, right? So
Yeah, you're not getting
yeah,
scammed very often.
yeah. So this seems good then.
Yeah, this is great early. Just pretty much always your
It's just
biggest minion early.
always good,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Like great early triple.
Yeah, makes sense. Next up we have Nala the Redeemer, tier 6, 5/7. Whenever you cast a tavern spell, give a randomly fit a minion of each type. Oh, of each type. +2/+1. Not itself though, but still very good. If you you have to play a minion. My opinion of minions of each type has dropped every season. Like, but like if you have the setup, sure. Like you're still getting like a lot of stats, and you don't have to like think about this too much. Sure.
With the right setup, yeah, you can really
Yeah.
go
You
up.
could really pop
It's
off.
definitely not the strongest comp in the game, but
Yeah, that's my issue.
sometimes I just drop it on the board for a turn, like empty
For
my
a turn,
hand full
yeah,
of spells and then
I
like
know, I know,
eat.
I
So,
know. It's
but
like playing a Tissa.
I think as things will get nerfed, this will become much
Become
better.
better. Yeah, I hear you. That makes sense.
Yep.
Next up, Worgen Vigilante, 10/20, Wind Fury. Oh, they added our Wind Fury back. This minion always attacks an enemy minion it can kill if possible. Oh. That's probably good.
Yeah, it's one of those cards you end on if you're like,
Yeah, it's like
okay,
a zap.
what's my seven? Yeah, like kill Bramble Witch, kill Morgul, kill Titus, but it's kind of easy to buff cards out of this range, right? You can make something
Yeah,
20/20.
that's
so,
the issue, I think. Like you just play the 20/20 and it dies, right?
Yeah,
It's like,
you like triple into this for tempo maybe, but
yeah.
or just end on it if you really don't have something else. But I definitely don't roll it down for a Word of Vigilante.
Nah, it doesn't win you the game or anything.
Unlikely.
Next up, Landlover. Now we're in the elementals, or not elementals, but like the Dominion types.
Yes.
So this is Tavern Tier 2, Elemental Pirates. 3/4, the Tavern offers an extra Tavern spell after each refresh. This is the one you talked about where you can combo and do that meme strategy, but yeah, seems okay.
It's on Bloodwatcher, it's insane, right? The hero where every third spell is free. On everything else, it's fine.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I'm looking at the everything else, Shady.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
Well, the stat line is a bit too good. I would say for the effect, it'll get nerfed, but it's right now. I'm totally fine with spell things being too strong because it makes you buy them and play with the spells. So
Okay. Next up, Sandstorm Drake, tier 5 Elemental Dragon, 0/9. At the end of your turn, gain +1 attack. Repeat for each card you've played this turn. So with that
Smuggler.
what's that?
Love Smuggler.
Yeah, with Smuggler, it's good.
It's really a 2-card. Like you need Smuggler, otherwise it's just like a glass cannon, a lot of damage, does nothing else.
Yeah.
So it's Master of Realities is back.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Master of Realities is the elemental card, but it's not an elemental itself. It gains +1/+1 every time an elemental gains stats.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
okay.
this Smuggler and Master of Realities, and you can build
You're
500 masters very easily
yeah.
because you're
Now
just
you're
slamming
juicing.
cards. Yeah.
Yeah, makes
And
sense.
for the first time ever, you can untaunt Master of Realities.
Mm.
So you could just
Not
have
the
like
well. Oh yeah. First time ever in Master Reality's history. Like,
yeah. It used to always be like, Master
eh,
sucks. It gets
yeah,
poisoned.
it just
But
gets
now you
poisoned.
can give it Divine Shield with a spell. You can untaunt them, and then you just have this random like 600 Divine Shield in your comp, and you're like, yeah, that's pretty good. So that's
All right.
absolutely one of the comps you can run.
Yeah, makes sense. Living Azurites, tier 4 elemental. 4/4, whenever you cast a tavern spell, elementals in a tavern have +1/+1 this game. That seems very easy to pump.
Yes, but the meta is so
Fast that
unbalanced
you
that
don't use this.
you would need a really, so maybe in lower MMR, but in high MMR people force 2 comps basically.
Yeah, okay.
And this is not one of them.
And this is not the one.
This is not one of them. But yeah, I mean, if you have a really good game, then yeah, you could do this.
This is like you're having fun and you're
Yeah, you're like, yay,
just wanna
like
do
maybe with a
yeah.
Felbat, right? Like, but most of the
Alright.
time, no.
Yeah, all right. Bizarre Dealer, tier 4 demon, 3/6. 1 tavern spell each turn costs health instead of gold to buy. So the first one you buy, I assume.
First one is free. The first spell is free. So you have Rewinder, right? With this. So you have Rewinder, you play Bizarre Dealer, and then it's kind of like Malkazar, but instead of free rerolls, you get the first spell you buy is free.
It costs health, right?
Well, you have Rewinder, right? So that is.
I see.
So it's just demons. Like it's like with everything in
okay,
demons, you don't play demons unless you have a Rewinder.
Oh, okay.
Without Rewinder, this is far too.
You wouldn't buy this without demons.
I would need a very specific shop, but most, I would say 90+% of the time.
If you buy this, you can't buy a minion.
If you buy this, you can't buy a spell with gold, right? You would have to buy it with health once per turn.
Oh, right. Oh, so you're forced to take damage every turn. Yeah, I see. I see where that can get awkward. Okay. Yeah. Okay, I see it. Rewinder. Yeah, I see it. All right. Fair enough. Yeah. Next up, we're going Silavas the
So for Bizarre Dealer, I will say that I have been playing a fair bit of demons when I can't hit like the Giga comps, essentially.
The nuts,
yeah. So demons feel good. So I've been picking up early Rewinder more. Just because like you can hit
this.
Yeah, you can still hit Malkazar, you can still do Weaver stuff, you can still do Floating Watcher, right?
There's a lot of tavern buffing too.
Yeah, exactly. So there's demons they feel good. They're not broken, but they feel good.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yep.
I'm not saying the name again.
Silavas.
Tier 6 Naga. Yeah, so tier 6 Naga, 5/8 spellcraft, discover a tavern spell. Once again, discovering a spell is very, very strong on tier 6, right? So
yeah, this is like Orgo on steroids, basically.
Yeah.
Like you love early triple into this, you just get stronger and stronger and stronger and stronger.
Yeah. Broken. All right.
Broken.
Next up, we have Mystic Sporebat, tier 3 beast, 4/1 death rattle. Get a. Oh God, they don't stop. Get a random tavern spell. Once again, broken. But yeah.
You can reborn this sucker.
Yeah, I know.
You can play a chicken with Titus with the sucker.
I know.
You can have games where you're just like start of combat, 10 spells in here. That's what I mean, right?
I said my thing. It's broken. Yeah.
All right, cool. Now this is one of the things like you check if beasts are in for like maybe early 3-on-3. Because it's so insane. Yeah. Like 3-on-3, open this guy, GG, right? It's so good. You almost instantly stabilize with extra spells.
All right. I'm not okay. I guess we'll do it at the end. Next one, harmless bonehead tier 1 undead 0/2 death rattle gain 2 summon 2/1/1 skeletons. Yeah, good for revenge, but not doesn't seem like that's the comp people are
Yeah,
really
read the
focusing
next
on.
card.
So.
It's really a 2-card package. Like,
Oh,
it's so
okay.
good together.
Grave Gobbler tier 2 undead 3/4. At the start of your turn, destroy the undead on the left of this to gain +4/+4. Okay, so you have a 7/8 on tier 2. If you can get both of these, okay.
Yeah, so I start Bonehead a lot of the time for if I open this guy. Because not only that, right? So then so that's the new mechanic for undead. You can now kill things in the tavern phase. So you can proc Reborn in the tavern phase, proc Death Rattle in the tavern phase. So start of your turn, not combat. Yeah. So during the tavern, it'll kill the Bonehead and summon 2 1/1s. Yeah.
Okay.
So
it's a lot better now.
Yes.
Than what I thought it was like, oh, you have a 7/8.
You're
like,
gaining 12/12 over 3 turns, right?
You were like, oh, I started Bonehead to get this. So I'm like, for a 7/8, I was like, no, this.
Shitty. Why are you doing that?
Now I see. Now I see. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. That's way too good though.
Yeah. When you open this, you can just power level because you're gaining 4/4 for doing.
What is this? That's not balanced.
Even if you don't want to do it, like you gain a gold if you just sell the skellies, right? Because they sell for 1 gold each, so you could sell the skeletons. Yeah. But you usually eat them, right? Because it's too nice.
Yeah. What is this? That needs to be adjusted. Probably.
That's a really strong 2-drop. But I mean, it's very mediocre if you don't hit. But if you hit the combo, it's so strong.
Yeah, I don't know. All right. Next up, Mummifier, tier 3 undead, 3/2 death rattle. Give a different friendly undead reborn. Death rattle, give a friendly undead reborn. So this Grave Gobbler just like activates all of undead now. It's just this new thing.
Yeah, he can activate Mummifier as well.
Yeah.
But there's other cards. There's other ways of just know that you can trigger this during the tavern. So this can perma reborn stuff in your tavern.
All right. Next up we have Steadfast Spirit, tier 4 undead, 3/1 reborn, death rattle, give your minions +1/+1. Okay. So this is another another thing you eat. Yeah.
Kill this in the tavern phase, give you guys 1/1 perma.
Okay.
And then because it's reborn, it comes back on your board without a reborn, right? So you can kill it twice if you want.
Yeah, I'm assuming. Otherwise, it's not good. If you so you have to be able to do it twice, right? Otherwise, it's what's that one card called?
It's the shiny ring or whatever it was. It's a spell,
right? Spawn of N'Zoth.
Yeah.
Right?
Spawn of N'Zoth.
Like it's just a Spawn of N'Zoth on tier 4 if it didn't.
Well, it has reborn, right? So
no, if it didn't have reborn, is what
right. Sure, yeah.
This guy's Grave Robber, tier 4 undead, 4/3 battle cry, destroy. Okay, another one. Destroy a friendly undead to gain 3 gold. So this is another way of activating.
You can use this to kill things with a beneficial death rattle and get gold for it. So
yeah, seems good.
It's nice, nifty little activator. Also nice if you, let's say you have a micro mummy and you're just planning on selling it anyway. You can buy this guy to kill the mummy, proc the reborn, get an extra mummy to sell, get the 3 gold, sell this guy. So it's like pretty useful.
So this gives you money if you have undead.
Yeah, this generates cash.
Okay. More so Steward of Death, tier 5 undead, 6/2 reborn, death rattle, give your undead 6 health. Yeah, I mean you could eat it. I don't know if undead's really health centric, but still good, right? Like,
yeah, so this can get out of hand pretty quickly. Yeah. So Moros is it's not meta yet, but I assume after certain cards get nerfed.
After some nerfs,
after some nerfs, we might play 80. We might be able to play 80% of the comps. Yeah. And here he is, the big bad boy himself.
Archless Kel'Thuzos. I know the name because this is in the game. Tier 6 undead, 7/4 at the end of the turn. Destroy the undead to the left of this and resummon it. Like with reborn or what?
Yeah, the way it's in its original state. So well, maybe not original state, but in the state it was consumed. So if it was like a 50-50 Divine Shield Reborn, it'll come back as a 50-50 Divine Shield Reborn.
Huh. There's got to be some stuff where are the there? I know there's some broken stuff going on with this.
Yeah, well, I mean, just the basics is if you have Reborn on an undead and kill it and it comes back, that means that you get the Reborn version, you get that back, but you also get the extra copy for. So let's say, I'll just explain the combo.
So does it help you get triples as well?
Yes. You'll have two copies at the end of this. So you leave a board. Yeah, you leave a board space. So you play 6 minions. You have a Reborn Undead. This thing procs. End of your turn, you'll have 7 minions on your board. You'll have your original Undead, but you'll also have the version without Reborn. Right? Basically the Death Rattle effect or the Reborn effect.
Yeah. And then, but you'd have to do that twice, right? If you want the triple.
Yes, you do that 2 times if you need the triple.
Okay, I mean I guess that's fair.
So
it is a tier 6. Okay.
There is multiple stages to this, but yeah, once you see it in action, you're like, oh my god, that's batshit crazy broken.
Yeah, I have to see it in action. This is not clear the combos yet.
All right, but I mean, I'm just gonna explain what you do with it, right? So
okay, go for it.
I mean, this is one of the 2 meta comps that you force. So you get a Phalanx and you get this guy.
Oh right. Oh, never. I'm done.
Okay. Now the insane part is that because you already think it's good with this, right? And it is. But here's the insane part: because you kill the Phalanx in the tavern phase, all your guys get perma buffs.
I know. I'm sold.
And the Drakari, the Titus, the spell, so times 6. So you could get like a golden Phalanx plus 60 on all your guys. End of turn, right? If you have Titus, the Drakari, and the Titus spell. So it's 10-10.
You're not leaving you're not running like 2 minions, right? Are you? No, you're not.
No. So you use the Drakari spell. You use the Titus spell. So those don't have board slots you take.
Yeah, I know. I'm saying like you're not doing that to get 2 golden phalanxes, right? You'd maybe like leave 2 spots open to get a golden phalanx and then continue or what?
Oh, I mean, depending on what you have, you can have 4 golden phalanxes with this. So the insane part is, Collins, when you eat a golden version, you make another golden version.
Oh.
So once you have a golden phalanx, it's +1 golden phalanx per turn. So
can it say
yeah. No, now
summon a base copy?
I will say, like, I don't know if this is like giga broken if phalanx isn't in the game. Because just making a bunch of golden, we have to see, right? Because it is the tier 6 for undead, right? So we have to see, and it is a little slow, like you said, right? You have to wait and this and that, and you have to set it up. But with phalanx, it's fast enough.
It's insane, yeah.
So
okay, I gotta say, like, phalanx is recent enough that you should be thinking about phalanx when you design this card, right? Like, I feel like how do you miss that in playtesting? How do you miss that interaction?
I think that they probably have to remove phalanx.
Probably, of course.
Yeah.
I mean,
so some people have said like,
wow, Amalgadon minions being problematic. Yeah, I've never heard it before. Like, what is this?
Well, I memean, Menagerie being viable is good. It's fun. It's really enjoyable to do crossover stuff.
It's not the issue of an Amalgadon minion. So the Amalgadon minion with like these crazy effects, right? Like there was the one that you sell back. There's Amalgadon.
Yeah, there's ball of minions.
There's Phalanx. Look, why do they have these like super crazy effects that like?
They do have a knack for like, you know what's cool? Menagerie minions. Now let's make them broken. Right?
Yeah, make them even better. Yeah, like I just don't understand.
It's like, it'd be nice if something would have an all type, and would double your stats.
The original problematic minion was the Amalgadon on tier 3 where
Like
you
the
could give it
amalgam,
divine
yeah,
shield
the
poison.
three. It
Yeah,
was
you
it
know,
was a
like even that
2-drop.
one was problematic in its time.
It used to be a
Obviously now it
2-drop
would.
Collins, right? Like you would just
Oh
buy it
yeah,
on
it
tier
did. It
2.
did. It
Yeah,
did. Yeah.
you just hard roll for amalgams. Yeah, so I
So
mean,
I'm just saying,
yeah.
like, what's going on?
The reason why I think they remove phalanx is some people have said, oh, this is such an easy fix. Just make Kel'Thuzad proc during the combat. Problem solved, right? Like it's not perma. But like that's the whole, like they just
That's the whole comp. Yeah,
they
that's
reworked the whole
build.
type.
Yeah.
They reworked the whole of undead to be able to kill things in the tavern phase. They're not going to be like, oh, you know what, the tier 6 undead guy, he doesn't do that, right? So we can keep phalanx. So I really don't think they're going to change Kel'Thuzad like that. I think they want you to kill off your shit and proc stuff in the tavern. It's a cool concept.
You could say resummon a base copy. Would that be a problem? The problem is you'd have
It's
to
kind of
change the card.
shit though.
Huh?
It's kind of shit if you're summoning a base copy though, right? If you're not because
Fine. All right, leave it in then.
because I mean what happens is let's say you have like a reborn Anubarak, and you resummon a base copy, you don't get the reborn on your Anubarak back. Right? So like you're making your undead worse when you eat it.
Like by base copy, I don't mean the stats are the same. I mean like it's not golden. Like it's the same stat line, but it's just
a non-golden version.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Summon a non-golden version. Like put a little parentheses, non-golden. Would that be too much or? All right.
I think you'd still play it with phalanx though, right? Because you'd have one golden phalanx.
You would still play with like phalanx is a problem. I'm saying we've already removed phalanx. In this
right. I think I want to try this without phalanx and in its current form. Yeah,
I'm okay with that reality.
I want to see
I'll allow it.
That doesn't mean that it's gonna be balanced, right? But I want to see what it looks like.
You want to see it, yeah.
I want to give KT a fair shot, right? It's like it's mainly just phalanx breaking. It's kind of like saying Kangar is broken because of it's like no, phalanx is in the game, so Kangar is totally fine without phalanx.
All right. We hear it. Let's move on. Oh yeah. We have Mangled Bandit tier 3 Quillbore 3/3 at the end of your turn. Discard a spell. I mean, it means that you're paying 1 gold for 3 blood gems, right? So. I mean, you can't be holding spells that you want discarded though, but you're paying 1 gold for 3 blood gems. I guess that's okay, right? So
yeah. So
the problem is that like this isn't the comp you're focusing on, right? Like you're not. I'm assuming blood gems are not the meta.
So it's okay if because once you have a gem, the one gem feeds the other gem, if that makes sense.
No, that doesn't make sense.
So a blood gem is a spell. So once you have, you just need a spell to get started, and then every turn you can just leave 1 gem in your hand, and it'll eat the gem and make 2 more gems.
Oh. Okay.
Solid.
Thank you. Yeah. Now it's a lot better. Yes, I agree. It's like +2/+2 per turn. Okay.
Yeah, I had a fun game with this where it's golden early, and then you're like, wee, gem.
Yeah.
Because you can play jazzers, you can play pipers, right? And then all of a sudden we're gaining way more than 1/1 per gem, and then it gets out of hand pretty quickly.
Yeah. Okay, I'm sold now.
Cool.
It's now playable to me. All right. Next up, we have Scarling Conductor, tier 4 Quillbore, 5/5 at the start of your turn. Discover a spell to gain 3 gold.
Discard a spell to gain 3 gold.
Yeah. So, now that we've talked about it, I understand the mechanics and I can see how this is playable, yes.
Yeah, it really curves into each other. It's like kind of awkward by itself, but if you have this guy, then the other guy is amazing, right?
Yeah. Makes sense. Okay, cool. Paint Smudger, tier 4 Quillbore, 5/3. Whenever you cast a tavern spell, play a blood gem on another friendly Quillbore. Okay. I mean, if you're playing Quillbore comp, this is usable. So,
meh. It's
what is Quillbore comp? I hear you.
Yeah, and Quillbore don't support buying a lot of tavern spells, right? It's not because
they don't.
Like you don't have any
it's
mechanics.
Not intrinsic.
Yeah, so very, very mediocre because it's random. It goes on a random Quillbore. I tried it a little bit here and there. I bought it like 2 times on day 1, and I'm like, okay, I'm done with this card. So,
So what if it was like play a blood gem on the left, or would that be
if you
better?
can force it, right? So the next guy, right? The next guy is like
Yeah.
Agam, kind of, but
Yeah.
not really, right? He's like, whenever a blood gem is played on this. So yeah, I'll read him, right? So this is tier 5, Geomagus Ruguk. Whenever a blood gem is played on this, play a blood gem on a different friendly minion. So this is also a little bit awkward. So for Quilboar, I do like what they've done, by the way, right? Because a main criticism of Quilboar was you've made Quilboar very centered around buffing the gem. And then you have something like Agam, which does not really use that. So now I've made my gems big. I put up my gems on my Agam, and now I have a big Agam, but I don't really buff the rest. So I like what they've done here, where if you've had a good early game with gem buffing, and you have very high attack gems, then this is great, of course, because now every gem you play is worth a lot. So, but if you do not have any gem buffs, this is like you wouldn't play this. So you really need to have those Pipers, those Jazzers, and then, you can have this with Charlie's, and you could potentially have Paint Smudger and play some Tavern spells, but I have not been in a position yet where I've been able to make that work.
Yeah, Paint Smudger seems too awkward.
Yeah.
Compared to everything else. The other two, right? The gold and the gems seems good. Paint Smudger, I don't know how you'd get to that one. What if it was like would that be too strong if you change it? Like instead of play a blood gem, it's like gain a blood gem. Is that too good?
Get a blood gem in your hands whenever you cast a Tavern spell.
It just have to be to the left or something. You can't have the blood gems in your hand.
Probably.
Yeah, it's too good. Okay. Next up we go to dragons, the problematic minion type.
They haven't been problematic in a while though.
Yeah. Emerald Proto Whelp 0/4 at the end of your turn gain one attack. I mean, it's whatever.
It's
I guess
good starter. Good starter. Solid starter. I'll give this guy his due. It's a 1/4 on turn 1. It's a 2/4 on turn 2 already, right? So you're winning a lot of fights, and synergy with Valve Smuggler, it keeps scaling, so it's a good starter minion.
Okay, I hear you. All right, Bronze Sand Spear tier 2 Dragon 2/2 Divine Shield. Okay. If you have 7 minions at the end of your turn, gain 2/1. Ooh, that's not bad. Okay.
Yeah, you get pair of these guys. That's a lot of easy fights ahead.
Yeah, I hear you. All right, seems good.
Good starter.
That's like a solid 2-drop. Like they don't do that all too much. Like, yeah, a solid 2-drop. All right. Next up, Outback Smolder tier 4 Dragon 4/3 at the end of your turn. Gain a 2/1 Smoldering with Battlecry. Okay, so you gain. Okay, at the end of your turn, you gain a Smoldering. These make triples.
Yes.
Right. Yeah. So probably very, very solid.
I would say there is a limited window where this is fantastic, right? Like early triple into this.
Early tier 4
godlike
triple.
Right? Yeah. And then after
if
that
you
falls
have
off
room
very
in your,
quickly.
If you have like room to play one of the Smolderings and still like.
Yeah. If your board's not full, this is god tier.
Yeah, I agree. All right, Ignition Specialist tier 5 Dragon 2/2. Oh, here it is. This the most problematic dragon in the game. Hey, you were trolling, but legitimately problematic.
Well, Phalanx is a dragon, but yeah, I get you. Yeah.
At the end of your turn, gain 2 random tavern spells. That's funny if you made like a discussion like what has been the most problematic minion type, and I put in dragons, and then you're like, maybe you're not that dumb. I don't know. At the end of your turn, you gain 2 tavern spells. Absolutely god broken. I mean, needs to be changed in some way, right? For sure. What are your thoughts?
It's very good, but there's other spell. I mean, it's very good. It's very good.
Yeah.
There's another 5-drop that you're gonna look at it and be like, oh, okay. But yeah, this is very good.
Okay, fair enough. There's more problematic tavern
spell
dragons.
So we haven't covered the other comp. I said there's 2 comps. We have to still get to the other comp.
All right. Wayward Grimscale tier 4 Murloc 1/5. Whenever this is attacked, gain venomous. Okay, so if you buff it up, then and put it in the back. Okay.
Yeah, everything has shield, right? Due to the shield spell. So
right,
it's kind of garbage.
Yeah, I see it.
Not playable in the current meta.
You get too many tavern spells too fast.
Yeah,
That's the
you
issue.
can if you have a good game, your board will be
Yeah,
shielded.
yeah,
So.
yeah. Lighter fighter, tier 4 mech, 5/1 death rattle, deal 5 damage to the lowest health enemy minion twice. Oh, I mean, maybe playable on 4. Afterwards, you get outskilled way too quickly. I'm guessing.
I hate this because it's like Boombox and Exodia, right?
Yeah.
But Boombox and Chicken were never in the game together. So
So you can combo with this
yes.
chicken.
So we are yet again in a position where start of turn, your shit could proc before their shit. So you could snipe their Titus and their chicken before their chicken procs, and then you win, or they could snipe your shit, and it's it's this really really dumb whose chicken procs first kind of thing where some comps don't give a shit about lighter, right? Like they're
Right.
300 stats and they couldn't care less. But some comps have a Titus on the board, have a chicken on the board, and they kind of need their shit to proc. So let's say you're playing Beast, let's say you're playing Phalanx, right? Although getting counted as a Phalanx is fair. The if the lighter if Beasts are in, you'll run chicken with lighter fighter, and you'll have Titus. So you can snipe all their crucial stuff, their backline, before the fight has even begun. Because it always targets the lowest HP minions. So you're not wasting any of your shots on the big boys.
Right.
So yeah.
So better than I was saying.
Yeah, it's better than Boombox, right? Boombox was just damage, but this will always snipe the Titus and stuff. Because you'll have Titus yourself. So the golden version, which we assume you have, is 10 damage twice. So that's 20 damage. Titus, 40 damage.
40 damage.
Golden chicken, 80 damage. Two of these guys, 160
not regular
damage.
Chicken?
So it's just a proc, right? So the chicken. So I'm what I'm counting is the damage before the combat has even started.
Oh, okay.
Right. So
Okay. Yeah.
regular chicken would be 40 damage.
Yeah.
But if you have a golden chicken, it's 80 damage before combat has begun.
Right.
Like you can't buff out of, it's not like, let's give my Titus 50 health. And then it's like, no, it's like, that's not happening. So the opponent is dealing 80 damage to your backline before the fight starts.
Fortunately, you just played the Titus spell. You don't get care. Like, you're just like,
well, if it kills your chicken doesn't proc.
yeah.
Right, so it's a coin flip again, right? If their chicken goes first, it kills your chicken, and it's just like, yeah. So that's the only thing I don't like. I really hate that design where start of combat. Like I don't think chicken should be a card. I mean, I get it, right? They've probably balanced somewhat around it, right? The beast stuff. So it's probably not as easy as just remove chicken because if you remove chicken, maybe Goldrin, right, suddenly gets into trouble.
I'm gonna say it is that easy.
Well, chicken is problematic in that it makes Phalanx
make
better.
chicken not proc on. Make chicken proc only beasts, right? Isn't that the way?
Well, it would still proc Phalanx. It would still proc Golem. It would still be very good, right? It would solve Lighter, but yeah. I don't think Lighter is even like... It's not like it's a super big meta comp. Yeah, it's just so frustrating when you happen to have a non-stat
but we're removing Phalanx in this world, right? So it's fine. Right?
Yeah.
We're removing Phalanx, so it's fine to have it only proc beast. I think that's the line.
Yeah. We'll see. I'll just throw it out there that I don't like that type of mechanic where, it's kind of like back when Macaw was released and it was just like, well, whose Macaw attacks first? That person wins, right? That's not a fun experience for your end game.
Fair enough. But yeah, I mean, you don't like these type of tech cards?
I think the tech card itself is fine. I don't like that it goes off before the fight has even started. So it's just in combination with chicken. That's it.
Okay. Interesting.
I think it's okay. Like if you have a fair shot, because you could not kill the lighter, right? You could have a small taunt, or you could attack with your Goldrin and buff your board burst. But there's no counterplay, right? If they have chicken lighter, it's just like it will kill your backline before you get to go. Period.
Okay.
That's it.
What can you do? Alright, moving on. Trembling Trolley, Tier 4 Mech, Avenge 309. So pretty tanky. Gain a random tavern spell. I mean, I think all the get a tavern spells are good. That's my takeaway. So
Yes.
Avenge 3 is hard-ish, but it's still like you can get like 2 spells per turn if you're lucky. It's tanky too, so
Everything that generates tavern spells is good.
yeah, I know. I know.
So in the current iteration of the game, now of course you have boards where a trolley doesn't do anything, right? No taunt, no token. Okay, don't buy it. It's not like a spore bat.
I see the next meta. I see the next comp that people force.
Yes, there we go.
Spellbound Seafer. I see it.
Here
Okay,
it
tier
is.
5 pirate. 4/5 after you buy 3 cards, gain a random tavern spell. This is the one, right?
Wee! APM
And
spell
the
pirates,
cards,
baby.
the cards can be spells itself as
It
well.
can be a coin, Collins. You can buy
Yeah.
a coin.
Yeah. Yeah, I see it. This is the one. Yep.
Yeah.
And
This
then,
is why you rush 5 to get this card.
Yeah.
Insane.
Yeah.
So it's pirates and KT phalanx. Those now I play some demons, right? I play some dragons, right? It happens, right? But especially when both pirates and undead are in, you can be damn sure that one of those two is winning.
Mm-hmm. All right. Is that everything? No, there's more. Oh my
But
god.
wait,
no,
there's more.
You're kidding me.
And we kind of have to cover it, but this okay. I'll take over, right? Let me because
Okay,
I
yeah,
know
yeah.
I've
Okay.
played. So hero updates Vol'jin. Vol'jin was too cool, so we decided to screw over Vol'jin mains. Vol'jin now no longer has a cool effect.
Oh wait, let me see.
I'll
Choose 2
yeah,
minions. They gain each other's attack. Oh, that's kind of
for one turn, right?
kind of horrible.
It's horrible.
Yeah.
So it was limiting design space. That's her explanation, which I completely understand. Vol'jin is a very unique effect, which is why it was so much fun to play with. And they were probably thinking, oh, we can't make this because Vol'jin. Well, we can't make that because Vol'jin. So I understand, but yeah, I haven't picked a Vol'jin yet, which is very atypical for me. Usually I will pick a Vol'jin a day or so, right? Where I love picking that hero.
It's funny. I'm not a Vol'jin main or anything, and
Yeah.
I'm a little sad.
No,
I may be more.
I appreciate
more
that.
sad for you.
Yeah, that's your solidarity, right? You gotta stand with your Vol'jin mains. Okay. Sure. Ini is no text change, but now counts minions destroyed in recruit phase. Sure, right? Like if you have an undead and you kill off your own minion, right? Maiev is a big change. So Maiev no longer buffs the unit, but is back to 2 turns.
Oh, that's
So,
a buff.
Old Maiev, yes. Old
That's
Maiev.
a buff. Yeah.
And
Okay.
the card immediately jumps to your hand and it's locked in your hand. So it won't screw with your tavern slots late in the game.
Wow.
Big buff.
Wow.
Maiev is back on the
I'm a
menu,
Maiev
boys.
fan already, and they buffed it. Okay.
Yeah,
Let's
Collins
go.
is playing some Maiev. Let's go. Barov is back from like a whole season.
Finally.
It's gone for. I've already played him. It's amazing. I love him. Because Barov is even better right now because
With spells,
the flexibility to say, oh, I will just pay 1 coin here to get the coin there, so I get 2 more coins next turn, and it doesn't screw my curve, right? So Barov is fantastic. Then there's a whole bunch of minions out. I'm just going to cover the most impactful ones. Selfless is gone. Reef is gone. Leroy's gone. Zap is gone.
Being gone doesn't matter because of the spell, so I don't know about that.
Yeah, sure. But I mean, Selfless has been such a big endgame tech for
staple,
so long, right? Yeah. Soul Splitter's gone, but you have the guy that you
Nomi's
can
gone,
kill.
but I guess that doesn't matter.
Nomi kick W, right? Yeah.
I'm a Nomi fan, so shut up. Hey, let me. Why are you laughing?
Honestly, that's the main thing. There's a lot of undeads out. Atissa is out, obviously, because you know Atissa with spells would be like.
Yeah, Agum's out. Low Flyer's out. Kaboom Bot.
Yeah, there's a lot of cards out. So, and then there's some things returned. Critter Wrangler is back, but now says for every spell you cast on a minion, gain 1/2. So that works with tavern spells, but of course only a fraction of the tavern spells are targetable, right? A lot of them are just like, oh, discover Battlecry or something, so not really broken. Netherdrake is back in its normal form. Razorgore is back as a 4-drop. Master of Realities is back unchanged, and Snail is back unchanged.
Okay.
Dagger Spine is now a 4-drop because it was probably a little bit too good with early spells. And then, honestly, the only one that really matters here is Slither Spear is now a 6-drop. So Slither Spear
Or
was...
what happened to Wrangler?
Wrangler now
Oh,
works
it was a
on...
2/2 instead of a 1/2.
Yeah, but it also said Spellcraft, I think. It didn't work with spells. Now it says when you cast a spell on a minion.
Oh, so it got buffed.
Yeah, so a Blood Gem is a spell, right? Like, so if you have a handful of Blood Gems, just buy a Wrangler. Stuff.
Right,
So it's it's very useful for those things. But Slither Spear is really good now. End of the turn, give your other Naga 1/1 for each different spell you've cast this turn. That's every different Terran spell. So you can play a lot
They
of
moved him
spells.
to tier 6.
Yeah. Preemptively, like, let's make this a 6-drop. So you get Drakari with... So the nuts is... And I haven't been able to do this yet, right? But I want to, but it's tough to set up because it's 6-drops. The other Naga...
This and Drakari.
You need this in Drakari, but also the other Naga 6-drop. But, I mean, that's already a good explanation. Like, okay, listen to this comp. You need, like, a bunch of 6-drops.
You get 4 tavern spells, and then they get plus...
Yeah, you get a shit ton.
Plus 2 per tavern spell.
Yeah. So...
And that's if they're not... If none of them are golden, right? Which you will... Some will be at some point.
Yes. So you get a lot of buffs. But because the meta is pretty fast-paced right now, where it's pirates running all over shit. Yeah. So, but I really want to get that game ref. Like, I just want to triple into the spellcraft guy, the one that discovers a spell every turn, and then get a Slither Spear quickly after. I just want to have that game. But that's it. That's a long episode. Yeah. Big patch, guys. But my take on it is that it's...
Whoa, Shady, there are updated armor tiers. What are you talking
about?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's... And if you are an armor enthusiast, feel free to, like, go over every change, guys. Just go to the Hearthstone website. It's all there. But no, my take on this is fantastic.
5 is 10 gold instead of 11.
That is big. Yeah. It's much easier to go to 6, which I think is fine.
Yeah. Okay.
It's back. So I would say that the 6-drop meta was gone.
Bots have been added to the Battlegrounds ladder.
Wait, what?
You don't notice? Do you read this? Bot has been added to the Battlegrounds ladder. One of our bots were added to certain games to provide newer or lower MMR players.
Wait. Okay. Where is this?
General Battlegrounds updates. Do you see this after the new Battlegrounds track?
Oh, yes. Yeah. This is so far removed from how I play that I never even read this. But yes, bots have been added to the Battlegrounds ladder. That's why you're here, Collins. That's why you're here. I suppose because people were... No, it's not for leaving games, right? Because it wouldn't affect that.
No, it's not. It's to make climbing easier.
They were looking at that Snap experience and were like, you know what?
Yeah, they were.
These Snap fuckers with all their bots. Let's do some bots, yeah.
I kind of think that is actually something that they learned from Snap from.
Yeah.
I actually think that.
I mean, a lot of games do it, though. But yeah, Snap really... It made it a very... Like, you feel like you're better at the game, right? And you're more motivated to keep playing. Yeah.
You feel like you're better, so you kind of, like, want to play initially.
Which is perfectly fine, right? If that gets you over the hump to it you know, if you get thrown into a lobby and it's just like stomp, you're like, this is not fun, I'm not playing this game, fuck this, right? But if you're like, okay, win, I got a first, I got a second, right? You get a little, and then you get like beaten by a player, you're like, okay, that's fine, I can, you know, let's learn,
What did he do? Whoa, I've never seen that comp before. Whoa, all these bots are playing trash, and this guy had like an actual thing. Let's see what he Let's see what
so maybe we should make a new account at some point and like have a look at the comps. But no, then that's so mean because then you say, look at this bot and like, oh no, it's a real person, right? We can't do that.
I do that in Snap sometimes.
Yeah. Oh my god. Yeah. Where you're like, oh, this is a bot, right? Oh no, it wasn't.
Yeah,
the bot.
like
oh, shit.
It's the worst, right?
Yeah. Like, you can't do that.
Have to, like, come and say, hey, Collins, I was watching. That was me.
That was me.
You just have to cry. I'm so sorry.
God. Yeah. -1 player. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, they know enough that, like, you know, they're aware to be like, oh, you know, like,
it's probably gonna be like, I don't know, Pants or something. Like all the bots are Pants names or Golden Pants or Magic Pants.
Maybe. Yeah. Well, if they learn from Snap, they're gonna have random names. Snap does not like, it's not that obvious that they're bots in Snap.
Sure.
Well, unless you've played them. Like if you're a new player, you won't know. Is what I'm
Right.
saying.
All right,
I
Collins.
don't.
That's it for me, honestly.
No. We haven't balanced. What's
Oh, I
you?
mean, okay. So first off is the pirates, right?
Mhm.
That just needs to get gutted. I don't
Like
know.
removed.
I don't know how much you need to nerf it, right? Where it's like every 4 cards. Like, I mean, I guess it'll be an easy fix where you say, let's make it every 4 cards. If that's not good enough, let's make it every 5
There
cards.
is something I would do across the board. Hear me
Sure.
out.
All right. Go
I
for
would
it.
make all the get a random tier tavern spells a tier lower. Like, so if on 5 you can only get 4 lower, and you can't get a 6. Like that's
So
what
you
I would
can
do.
never get a 6
Yeah, you
randomly
never get.
generated.
You can never discover a 6. Yeah.
So I would advise you to really play and feel it because
Fair.
the game's
That is
fun.
fair. That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah,
But I can come in with a perspective
I get it. Yeah,
that isn't biased from play.
absolutely. So the thing is like I'm afraid
I'm
that
throwing out ideas and I'm saying, like, oh,
that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
The thing that I'm afraid of is that we just make it too bland. We're like, whoa,
Too
you
bland.
guys are having too much fun. This is too wild.
I mean,
Tone it
I'm not
down.
changing. I'm not
Right.
changing too much. Like it just means you're getting less golden touch on 5. Like is like how is that like like I feel like discover golden touch period like is like not like for free 0 mana is
I
like
think
not,
it's
like if
it's
you're on
definitely
6,
something
like,
to
sure.
put forward. Sure. So the thing I wanted to try, right, was remove phalanx and nerf seafarer, and I want to see
Yeah.
what does that feel like, because then
Remove armor stash as well.
Yes, armor stash out, and there's probably other stuff, right? If you really would,
Right.
if I would take
Remove Titus tribute.
yeah, if I would take let's say half a day to really think about this, look at this, I could have a more detailed answer. But the two big ones, right, are the Seafarer and the Phalanx comp, and I think if you nerf those with Phalanx, I think it's just remove. Then you give some room to the other stuff, and then you can see how that interacts with the spells, and then you're probably gonna have to come around to indeed nerf all the spell generation, because right now
I am super down for a tavern tier lower. I'm looking at it and it makes a lot of sense to me.
Sure. It's okay. Like essentially, I would love the game to be in its kind of high pace environment for a little while longer, but with more comms viable. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. I would like to see what happens when Seafarer gets.
You're literally telling me, oh, this Murloc doesn't matter because everything has Divine Shield. Like what?
Well, everything has Divine Shield. You're playing Seafarer.
This is a 5-cost tier 6 spell, and everyone has it.
Yeah, but you're playing like, Seafarer, right? You're playing Seafarer, and you're playing.
If it was a tavern tier low, you'd have to spend 5 gold to buy that. Like,
yeah, but Seafarer would be broken even without that, right? Because you get so much economy. So
sure, but I'm saying like I feel like it'd be more balanced. Like that's all. Okay. There's a lot of like things that you don't notice are so broken because but.
But if everyone has access to it, it's fine. It's just that certain comps leverage it so much better than others. That's what I mean.
Well, generating tavern spells is so good you can't do anything else.
Yeah, but you can do that with a lot of cards, right? You can do that with the Spore Bat. You can do that with the Trolley. You can do that with the Dragon.
Let's say I stand against tavern spells and I'm saying I'm not playing this.
Oh,
I will never win.
Then sit out the season because it's literally spell season.
I will. Okay.
That's like saying like I do not want to use my buddy. I do not play around my buddy. Playing around your buddy is ridiculous.
You don't have to play around your buddy to win with some heroes.
Yeah, with some heroes, right? Yeah, throw that in there. Yeah. Like you always leverage your hero. You always do something with your hero, right? Like with your buddy.
I'm just saying like.
Same thing with quests, right? Saying like, I will not use my quests to win. That is ridiculous. I only want to use my minions.
Even like I'm not playing spells, but I'm not building the 2 spell-related compositions. I still don't win. You know what I mean? Like I could use spells regardless. I'm just saying like the fact that that's true is a problem, right?
But you're
You
not
should
really.
be.
It's not like you're playing around spells, right? You're just using spells to beef up your comp, if that makes sense.
I mean, you're not right. Like the spells are the comp. Right?
No, no, you're playing. So okay, so what does Seafarer do? You play Seafarer with Tethys, and then you just play like you would normally play with APM Pirates. You just get bigger way
you're
faster.
playing APM Pirates.
You're playing APM Pirates with Seafarer, and then you cycle, and then you just go like, ooh, Divine Shield, bam, right?
But do you play APM Pirates without Seafarer?
I mean, you can, right? It's just way weaker.
Do you do it, Shady?
I've done it. I've done it because I was looking for a Seafarer, right? So, like, if you're playing Pirates, you will add Seafarer when you can.
Yeah,
that's just how it is.
Anyways,
that's why I said it's too strong.
You.
It needs to get nerfed, right? So.
I hear you. I just think like having to buy Sacred Gift is fine. Like
and you buy it for sure.
I know, but like a lot of times you also generate it for free. And I don't think you should be able to do it.
Aside from Seafarer, not too often. Because you have to keep in mind,
the
right?
Naga as well. The Naga as well will give it to you. So,
yes,
I mean,
yes.
there are ways.
So the Discovering, okay, that one hits, but that's a 6-drop as well, right? Let's see.
Well,
so,
I mean, I still think like that's not good.
Well, there's offering rates here, right? So, okay, fair. So, I guess you would not want 6-drop spells to be discoverable.
Discoverable at all, yes. Like you just can't get those.
That's probably okay. That's probably okay.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like just a tier lower.
Yeah, but you're throwing it on every tier, right? You're like, oh, you're tier 3,
yes.
you can get tier 3 spells. You're tier 4, you can't get.
You can't
tier 4
discover tier 3. Well, you can't generate like for free tier 3 spells. Yes, you can buy tier 3 spells.
All right, again, I'm saying like play it a little bit, try it a little bit. It's real fun.
Play a game if you have time.
All right, sure, we'll play a game. But I'm just saying, like before we put the brakes on it, right? Anyways,
I think it's an elegant solution. You know, like I hope that.
I'm not saying it's wrong, right? I'm just saying that I haven't had this much fun playing the game in a long time, which says a lot because I really like playing.
Because you loved the previous.
I love playing Battlegrounds. So whenever, like, it might sound like, you know, I wasn't having a good time with BGs and they made a really good change and now I am having it. No, I'm just having so much fun right now that I'm just scared that let's not change too much here because it's really fun.
I'm making it better, Shady.
All right. That's what they always say.
Yeah, I'm making it better. You know.
All right. Send us off, Collins, and we'll queue a game. Let's go.
All right. Thank you guys for joining us. This was a long one. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Enjoy the spell meta. It seems to be very fun. A lot of people are having a lot of good times. Hearing a lot of great things, which is always the case when it comes to Battlegrounds meta. So, you know, take care of yourselves. Have a wonderful day, and I'll see you in the next one. Any final words, Shady?
I enjoyed the spell meta, everyone. It's been great.
All right. Bye-bye.